Bulldogs, Jim Doyle and Andy Ulickney.
WHL in Bloomsburg, WPWX Berwick.
The Valley's sports leader, HLM.
Sports Radio HLM presents Berwick Bulldogs football playoffs versus Valley View. Brought to you by Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick for all your home improvements. Yannick Real Estate, commercial and residential. Axis Gymnastics Academy, East 7th Street in Bloomsburg. First Columbia Bank and Trust, with you every step of the way. Riverview Block Inc. of Berwick. Welsh's Towing and Repair, towing, recovery, and lockout services. The Berwick Medicine Shop, now at 500 Fowler Avenue in Berwick. The Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships. ND Accounting and Consulting, your hometown CPA firm. Overhead Door Company of Berwick. The Mayo Funeral Homes of Berwick and Shikshinny. S.J. Kowalski Heating and Cooling, the way the earth intended. Don's Towing, Truck and Trailer Repair, Route 11 in Berwick. Independence Ford, Route 11 in Bloomsburg. Lehigh Valley Health Network, your partner for orthopedic and sports medicine care. Mason's Monogram Service for all your Bulldog merchandise. And by Name Brand Liquidations in the Berwick Plaza on Route 11. Now with Andy Ulickney, here's the voice of the Dogs, Jim Doyle.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight from John Hensey's War Memorial Stadium in Peckville, it's the Bulldogs against the Cougars of Valley View in a District 2 Quad A semifinal. I am Jim Doyle. I'm joined by Andy Ulickney. The producer of this broadcast is Raven Klein. The last time Berwick played Valley View, 2 years ago, same setting, same circumstances. It was right here in Peckville. It was a District 2 semifinal, and Valley View emerged with a 14-13 win. Tonight, again, it's a semifinal. The winner of this one will go against the winner of tonight's game, North Pocono at Dallas, for the district championship a week from tonight. These teams have reached the level in different ways. Berwick struggled the early going. They were 1-3 at one point. Turned things around with a win against Williamsport. Since then, have won 6 out of 7, including a win over Wallenpaupack 37-17 in a quarterfinal at Crispin Field last Friday to reach the semifinals. For Valley View, they've been pretty much dominant all season long. They started the season with wins over 2 very good teams. Dallas 34-14, Delaware Valley 35-14. And even though they lost their star quarterback, Adam Hawanitz, in Week 6 against Crestwood, he was off to a great start. They've not really skipped a beat. They have one loss. That was in the regular season finale to a very good Scranton Prep team, 17-10. Last week, they had no problems in the quarterfinals, beating Crestwood by a score of 38-7. So it's Valley View against Berwick, familiar opponents in the district playoffs. Andy Ulickney with us for Bulldogs football. And Andy, obviously the strength of this Berwick team has been their defense, particularly against the run, and particularly in the latter stages of this season. They have not allowed a team to gain 100 yards rushing since the Williamsport game on Week 5. But tonight, a real challenge.
Oh, yeah.
This Valley View team doesn't throw it very much, particularly with Hawanitz gone, but they run the ball very, very well.
Yeah, something has to give, Jim. This Valley View team averages 266.7 yards a game on the ground. Key running back, Connor Hilling, he's up there just about 100 yards a game. They get other people involved with the run. The quarterback's a competent runner. So while Berwick has held teams to under 100 yards total rushing in a game, this might be their toughest challenge.
Berwick has faced some very, very big offensive lines this season, bigger than the one they're going to face tonight.
Yeah.
But they probably will not have faced an offensive line as good as the one tonight. They all 5 starters back from a year ago. They're veterans and they're good.
They're big, they're good, they're talented. Athletic as well, Jim. You were down around Tyler Schwartz standing there at 6'2", 270. He's intimidating. Opposite him on the left side of tackle, Ja'Kai Simmons goes 250. The center's 270, and Danny Veslusky. And then twin guards, Jacob and James Kasarin, go about 220 each, and they're extremely athletic. So it's well-coached, athletic, big, strong, and it's the offensive line that whoever's carrying the ball, they can make it go.
It figures to be a battle of running attacks, and yet Berwick is coming off a game in which Matt Ledzinski threw for 145 yards. If they can get anywhere near that production, they can be in this game.
Yeah, and I think the emergence of Spencer Tishbaugh in the passing game, you throw it near him, he's going to go up and get it. He's looked very, very good. I don't think they've gotten enough out of Dre Wilk in the passing game. They have talent. You can always flip it to Benny Knorr and other people up. Rowan Slavinsky's been targeted. So we'll see what happens. I think the other aspect, too, when you go to pass and you roll out Ledzinski, he's been a little bit more active attacking the line of scrimmage and showing a willingness to run. And he can drop that shoulder and finish runs off.
Valley View against Berwick for the right to advance to the district final. Andy will be by later with the keys to tonight's game. When we return, we'll hear from George Hawanitz, the head coach of the Cougars. You're listening to Berwick Football on Sports Radio, HLN.
Sports injury got you down? No one knows sports medicine like Lehigh Valley Health Network and Coordinated Health. Their unrivaled sports team has the highest orthopedic success rates in the region. With more than 30 years experience, they put athletes first and provide same-day appointments. Don't let a sports injury slow you down. Learn more at lvhn.org/sports medicine or call 888-402-LVHN.
Yannick Real Estate is your full-service real estate agency. Buying, selling, residential, commercial, multifamily, land, and rental management. Call Yannick Real Estate. Owner Mike Yannick, a veteran himself, served his country and has been serving this area for decades. Mike and his staff will guide you through the real estate process. Veterans, be sure to check the VA loan options. Yannick Real Estate, your full-service real estate agency. 1232 West Front Street in Berwick. Call 759-3300.
Northeast Pennsylvania, it's your home. And no matter what stage of life you find yourself in, what you rely on most is security. When that house becomes a home, the moment you get that new car, when your dreams become a reality, it's times like this when you have to look to the experts for advice and financial peace of mind. They're there with innovative products and services to help you with your financial future every step of the way. Together, they will help dreams and goals become reality. They are more than a bank. They're your neighbor. They are First Keystone Community Bank, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Don's Towing on Route 11 in Bloomsburg can handle any tow, whether it's a car or big rig, 24/7. Don's has roadside assistance, and your satisfaction is their priority. They always have a truck available, and you'll never wait more than 20 minutes to be picked up and on your way again. Don't let a flat tire ruin your day. Don's Towing will help you get where you need to go without breaking the bank. They accept all insurances, and those that pay out of pocket will appreciate their low prices. Don's Towing, Route 11, Bloomsburg, or check out their Facebook page.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog football.
WHLM Bloomsburg, WBWX Berwick.
HLM.
The high school football playoffs have reached the district semifinal stage here at John Hence's War Memorial Stadium in Peckville. It's a District 2 Quad A semifinal. The Bulldogs of Berwick against the Cougars of Valley View. Valley View lost their starting quarterback, Adam Hawanitz, to a season-ending ACL injury on October 1st in a game against Crestwood. Adam's father, head coach George Hawanitz, on how sophomore Dominic Nemo has done in place of Adam in the quarterback position.
He's done a great job for us. He's done a good job of coming in and managing everything. Obviously losing Adam, he probably would have been a 1,000-yard rusher and a 1,000-yard passer. He was on pace to kind of blow those numbers out of the water for us. He was really a huge part of our offense. But Dom's come in, and we've kind of relied on some of our other skill kids now to pick up the slack, from Adam. And Connor Hilling's done just an unbelievable job for us. An unbelievable job for us as a tailback and really finish runs. And Colin Skeen's been another kid, and Sean McInerney's another one at the receiver spots, and they've just done a lot and made a lot of plays for us.
Your defense has really been strong as well, giving up only 10 points a game against a really tough schedule. What would you say the strength of your defense is? What do you do well on that side?
I don't know if we really do anything really well sometimes. I yell at our coach all the time. I'm like, geez, this is probably one of the worst defenses I think we've had, because they really don't do a whole lot. We're pretty basic and bland. Usually I'm a big blitzer and send guys from everywhere and try to confuse offense. We really haven't done a whole lot of that. So, our kids have done a nice job of getting to the ball. We get all 11 kids have done getting 11 helmets to the ball has been a big thing for us, and we've really been a bend but not break kind of defense, and we've given up some yards and given up some plays, but not really ones that have scored. So we've limited a lot of teams with big plays. They haven't made big plays, and it's been a huge part of why our defense has been a success.
I'm sure you've had a good look at Berwick by this time. Well, what concerns you about that?
Well, they have a lot of good skill kids. It's a typical Berwick team. They're tough. They're tough to defend. I think they're tough defensively. They send a lot of bodies at you, and there's a lot of speed coming at you. And it seems to me they have the thing rolling. I've seen their last couple of games, and they're running the ball well against people, and they're making some big plays throwing the ball, especially last week against Walpolpack. And defensively, they do a really good job of tackling. They do the same thing. They minimize a lot of big plays, and they make you kind of chip away and hope you can get big long drives for touchdowns.
That's Valley View head coach George Hawanitz. He is Valley View true and true. He played on the 1992 state title team here for head coach Frank Bazzalia. Eventually, he succeeded Bazzalia as the head coach, and he's done a great job. It's his 15th season. His career mark 104-64. His Cougars are the top seed in this tournament. They come in with a record of 10 wins and just 1 loss. We'll be back and take a look at the starting lineup for the Bulldogs. You're listening to Berwick Football on Sports Radio, HLM.
Hi, this is Cassidy from the Independence Ford Service Department, Route 11 in Bloomsburg. Does your Ford or Lincoln vehicle need service? Having trouble getting an appointment at your usual service center? At Independence Ford, we can and will take care of all your service needs. Regardless of where you purchase your Ford or Lincoln vehicle, our goal is to get you back on the road. Give me a call for an appointment today at 784-1414.
Come and get a great deal and total satisfaction.
Independence Ford, better people, better prices.
The community of Berwick knows Bulldog tough. So when it's time to remodel your garage or replace your overhead door, go with the quality doors and service the Red Ribbon represents. Look for the Red Ribbon logo. It's a symbol of 100 years of great doors, great installation, and great service. Give Overhead Door Company of Berwick a call, 570-759-3053, or visit their website at ohdberwick.com. Overhead Door Company of Berwick proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs.
It won't be long before tax time rolls around, so remember to visit Michael Daddio CPA at ND Accounting and Consulting for your income tax needs. ND Accounting and Consulting handles both business and individual taxes, as well as offering a variety of accounting services, including payroll, auditing, and bookkeeping. For tax and accounting services, look for Michael Daddio CPA at ND Accounting and Consulting with 2 locations, 214 Pine Street in Berwick and 5929 Main Road in Sweet Valley.
If you have a child that's interested in gymnastics, or if you've been practicing the sport for years, then Access Gymnastics Academy is where you want to be. Their dedicated coaches will teach you everything you need to know to perform your best, from the basics of flexibility, form, and style to advanced techniques that will improve your rhythm and style during a routine. Call Heidi Rebuck at Access Gymnastics Academy at 570-441-5969. That's 570-441-5969. Now enrolling for beginner to advanced classes at 917 East 7th Street in Bloomsburg.
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLM.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog Football, WHLM Bloomsburg, WBWX Berwick, HLM.
Considering that we are in the second week of November, a very mild weather night here in Peckville, as we get set to bring you the Bulldogs against the Cougars of Valley View in a District 2 Quad A semifinal. Here's the starting lineup for the Bulldogs. You heard Andy mention Spencer Kishbaugh. He now is the leading receiver on this team, in addition to being an outstanding defender. Spencer is 6'3", 195-pound junior, 20 catches on the season for 301 yards and 5 touchdowns. The left tackle's number 73, Gavin Cunningham, 6 foot 210, a senior. Liam Carroll, a sophomore, starts at left guard. He wears number 78. He is 5'8", 190 pounds. Andrew Blockus has had an outstanding senior season, playing the center position playing a tackle on defense. Andrews, 6'1", 215 pounds. The right guard is number 65, Bruce Hartman, 6'1", 215, a junior. And the right tackle is big number 70, Xander Unger, a 6'3", 265-pound senior. Dre Wilk starts at a wide receiver position. Dre is 5'11", 175 pounds, a junior. 19 receptions on the season for 148 yards and a touchdown. The quarterback is number 12, Matt Lonzinski. He has completed 46% of his passes for 953 yards, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He is coming off one of his best performances, 145 yards passing, in that win in the quarterfinal against Wallenpaupack last Friday at Crispin Field. That is a 6'1", 205-pound junior. One of the Bulldogs' most valuable players, the running back number 17, Benny Knorr. 5'11", 190-pound senior. Leading rusher on the team, 675 yards and 8 touchdowns. He's averaging just under 6 yards a carry. And he's tied with Dre Wilk for second in receiving. 19 receptions, 261 yards. When Berwick uses a fullback, we'll see number 33, James Deondra, 5'11", 200-pound sophomore, or a junior, number 34, Tristan English, 5'11", 185 pounds. And another wide receiver, number 6, Rowan Slapinski, 6'3", 200-pound junior, 5 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. That is the starting lineup offensively for the Bulldogs under Carmen DiFrancesco. In his 3rd season at Berwick, his 25th season overall as a head coach. Bulldogs offense averaging 19 points a game, 152 yards rushing, 86.6 yards in passing. We'll take a look at the starters for the Cougars of Valley View when we return. You're listening to Berwick Football and Sports Radio, HLN.
This is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander, Buick GMC, a Greater Hazelton. So whether you're in the market for a Buick or a GMC, come on down to Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazelton, and see what we have to offer. We're looking for inventory. We're here to come out. We'll offer models.
It reduces exposure to common bacteria and viruses and their health effects. Air scrubbers don't just treat the air, they also help to clean the surfaces of your home, such as countertops, bathrooms, kitchens, and doorknobs. The air scrubber is quick and easy, designed to fit into your existing HVAC system. Learn more by calling 1-888-KOWALSKI or on the web at sjkowalski.com.
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLN.
Discover the money-saving benefits of a new Bazing checking account from First Columbia Bank. Save money while you support our local businesses. You can save 10% on children's clothing, cameras, auto repair bills, or haircuts. You can get free bagels with a purchase or upgrade those chips to fries for free. And there's more. Not only will you save money with local and national shopping and dining deals, you'll also get cell phone protection, roadside assistance, prescription drug savings, and more. Visit First Columbia Bank to open your Bazing checking account today.
Sports injury got you down? No one knows sports medicine like Lehigh Valley Health Network and Coordinated Health. Their unrivaled sports team has the highest orthopedic success rates in the region. With more than 30 years experience, they put athletes first and provide same-day appointments. Don't let a sports injury slow you down. Learn more at lvhn.org/sports medicine or call 888-402-LVHN.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLN.
Berwick Bulldog Football. WHLN Bloomsburg. WBWX Berwick. HLM.
Berwick against Valley View tonight. The winner to take on the winner of tonight's game between North Pocono playing at Dallas next week for the District 2 4A championship. Here is the starting lineup offensively for the top-seeded Cougars of Valley View. The tight end, number 31, Zach Rudelavich. He is 6'1", 185 pounds, a senior. When they go double tights, we'll see number 40, Rafe Evans, 6 foot, 235 pounds, a junior. Jack I. Simmons is the left tackle. He wears number 56. He is 6'3", 250 pounds, a senior. Jacob Kasserin, number 59, is the left guard, 5'8", 215 pounds, a junior. Danny Wisłowski starts at center for the Cougars. He's 5'10", 270 pounds, a senior. James Kasserin, the twin brother of Jacob, starts at right guard. He's 5'8", 225, a junior. And the right tackle, number 71, Tyler Schwartz, a 6'2", 270-pound senior. At a wide receiver spot, the leading receiver is number 29, Sean McIntyre. He is 6 foot, 170 pounds, a senior. 23 receptions over the season for 315 yards and 3 touchdowns. The quarterback is number 3, Dominic Mimo. He's 5'11", 165, a sophomore. Doesn't throw it much, but when he has thrown it, he's thrown it effectively. 61% completion rate, 19 for 31, 321 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Connor Hilling is the leading rusher on this team. He's 5'7", 165 pounds, a junior. 1,060 yards rushing and 17 touchdowns. He is averaging 8 yards a carry. Also averaging 8 yards a carry is the starting fullback, number 44, Dante Randall, 6 foot, 215-pound senior. At a wide receiver spot is number 4, Colin Skeen. He is 6 foot, 190 pounds, a senior. 8 receptions for 171 yards. 3 of his 8 receptions have gone for touchdowns. And we will see Skeen in the Wildcat before this night's out. And he's been very, very effective rushing the football. 23 carries. He's averaging 13.6 yards a carry. He scored 3 touchdowns. That's the starting lineup offensively for the Cougars, and it is a potent one. 39.2 points per game. That's the challenge for the Berwick defense that has been very, very good, particularly the second part of the season. The Cougars against the Bulldogs. Keys to tonight's game, Andy Lickney.
Well, the keys, Jim, I think that's a little bit looking in the mirror. Both teams rely heavily on their running backs. And I think the team that can slow the other running back down is the team that has the best chance of winning. They highlight that part of the offense. They're both run-oriented offenses, and both teams have pretty stout defenses. Valley View allows only 10 points a game. Berwick's been improving weekly on their defense, and we've emphasized it's sort of a star-studded defense. It's pretty hard to stop. It's going to be matched up against a very good offensive line in this one, though, so we'll see how that works. Yeah, the defenses are very good, so which will slow down the other key runner? Berwick has Benny Moore. He's been very, very strong, averaging 6 yards a carry. Valley View, they were mostly on Connor Hilling. Hilling has 17 touchdowns, 1,060 yards on the season, averaging just a little under 100 yards a game. So, they're going to compounding with those running backs, both teams, and the defenses are going to have their scouting report to slow that down. So I think the defenses will be able to slow them down some. So you get to what else? What besides that key running back? Well, Berwick, they're going to have to use all its personnel. Dre Wilk, I mentioned, I think can be used more. We've seen him on jet sweeps, but not breaking big ones. We might see him in the Wildcat. He did that earlier in the year with some effectiveness as a pass receiver. He has talent, and he has the big playmaking potential. Ryan Bankus has been used a little bit sparingly since his comeback, but he's a great change of pace in there. Same with Bo Sheptok. He's been able to inject some excitement into things. And then you have the tall tight ends and H-backs. Tajee Taylor is a wonderful target on the short passes, and Spencer Kishbaugh has really become extremely impressive as a playmaker each week. I think the other one you have to really look at is Matt Lonzinski. He's going to have to step up and make some plays. Basically, he's been called upon to direct things, hand the ball off, make the simple plays. He might have to step it up a bit in this playoff game. Use his arm and perhaps use his legs to make a difference in this one. Flip it around to Valley View. What else do they have besides Connor Hilling? Well, they have Colin Skeen. He's a very good receiver, but they like him in Wildcat. He's averaging 13.6 yards a run, as you've mentioned, Jim. very strong. I think he gives them a different dimension. When it comes to pure receiving, you've mentioned Sean McInder, 23 catches, 315 yards there. They have other running backs. The fullback, Dante Randall, I saw him out on the field, and he intimidated me. 36 carries, averaging 8 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns. Also Cameron Higgins, 41 for almost 300, 7.7 yards. So they have the other weapons, and then they have the quarterback and Dominic Nemo. And again, I don't think they've asked him to do too much, but he's performed well, 61% with limited passing. That's strong. He is able to run, whether it's scrambles or by design, but it might be the type of game where they ask him to do a little bit more. So I think both teams are going in with the same game plan, try to get their strong running backs going. If not that, then try other things, and all of it seems to come through the quarterback. So I think quarterback play may be a big factor in this one, Jim.
Couldn't ask for a better night for November 12th. And you know why the weather is so nice?
Why is that, Jim?
Because prayers are answered. Andy and I are on the roof because there's no room for us in this district playoff game. And under adverse conditions, it would be a tough night, but it has really become a very mild night. The only concern we had coming in was very windy around 5 o'clock when we arrived, but there is absolutely no wind now. The game will be played on the artificial turf, looking a little rough as it is at Crispin Field, and I've been told that there's a good chance that next year they'll be putting new turf in here. Of course, you probably heard by now that there will be new turf in Crispin Field next year as well. But an interesting matchup here tonight. Two teams that run the ball well, two teams that stop the run, and we'll see who can impose his will and advance to the final to take on the winner of tonight's game between Dallas, the 2nd seed, at home against North Pocono, the number 3 seed. This is the 13th meeting between these two schools, and it's the 11th time they played in the postseason. Valley View leads this series 7-5, but they've won 6 in a row in this series. Talked earlier about their last win. That was here 2 years ago in a District 2 semifinal. They beat the Bulldogs 14-13. Valley View has won 3 district titles, 2011, 2017, 2018. Berwick's won 11, but the last one was back in 2014. As we see the Bulldogs ready to make their appearance on the far side of the field. Berwick tonight wearing the white jerseys, white pants, white helmets, blue numerals and trim, and down below us, the Cougars of Valley View. Blue jerseys, gold pants, blue helmets, white numerals and trim. Should be a great matchup here tonight.
It may matter a little bit, Jim. We were counting Berwick players in uniform here for, toward the end of the season as you hit the championship round and the tournament. We counted about 30 players. Valley View was between 40 and 50, depending on how you made the count. And they have some nice depth. They don't play many players 2 ways. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 2-way players among the starting lineups, and they'll probably rotate those in and out as well. So, as you get down to the 4th quarter and teams fatigue a little bit, we'll see how things go if that becomes a factor.
Berwick was making a concerted effort early in the season to go with one-way players, and then somewhere along the way when they were struggling, the conclusion was, let's just play our best players, whether it's one way or 2 ways. And since then, things have really turned around for the Bulldogs. You've got players like Spencer Kishbaugh. Benny Noor almost never comes off the field, but he's fine with that.
Yeah, more Andrew Block, the same thing. And, high school is 12-minute quarters, 48 minutes in all, and there's enough stoppages and specialty team plays and this, and some plays that go away from you, or if you're the running back and it's a, passing play, you can catch your breath while you're pass blocking. I was never a big fan of platooning, but it was a different game back then in the late 70s, early 80s. And yet Jimmy Roth has made a career with platooning, of going with almost nobody two ways. So different philosophies can lead to success. Different coaches have different thoughts on it. I think especially as you get later in the season, the teams are conditioned very well. The weather gets cooler and you can play a lot longer. We'll see how it holds up.
Valley View won the toss, deferred to the second half. Berwick will get the football to start this one. The officiating crew, the referee is John Loomis. Bill Legg is the umpire. The linesman, Robert Gentileza. Nick Coleman is the line judge. Dave Buczynski is the back judge. Kyle Costello is the field judge. And the side judge is Ed Van Kampen. So we are moments away from the kickoff to start this one. Berwick against Valley View. Back with that kickoff. You're listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio, HLM.
Hi, this is Cassidy from the Independence Ford Service Department, Route 11 in Bloomsburg. Does your Ford or Lincoln vehicle need service? Having trouble getting an appointment at your usual service center? At Independence Ford, we can and will take care of all your service needs. Regardless of where you purchase your Ford or Lincoln vehicle, our goal is to get you back on the road. Give me a call for an appointment today at 784-1414.
Come and get a great deal and total satisfaction.
Independence Ford, better people, better prices.
The Mayo Funeral Homes, located at 110 Chestnut Street in Berwick, is sincerely
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLM.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLM Bloomsburg, WBWX Berwick, HLM.
Prior to this District 2 4A semifinal here in Peckville, the Bulldogs against the Cougars of Valley View. Again, no wind speaking of tonight. Good conditions for this semifinal.
Nice bright moon. We don't normally get to see that, Jim, but when you're outside in the press box, I notice things are getting a little damp. I'm hoping my score sheets don't get so damp that I can't ride upon them. Also, we have a fence right in front of us. We may have to stand on occasion. I don't know how I'm going to balance a legal pad and the binoculars and the pen, but we'll manage.
We will. We will.
It's not raining on us as we were expecting.
Berwick will be moving from our left to our right in this first half. As Benny Knorr. And let's see, the other one deep for Berwick looks like Ryan Bankus. As Valley View will kick it off. Matt Cole will do the kicking. He's an excellent place kicker. We'll see how he does at kicking off.
Kicking from the exact middle of the 40-yard line. 5 people on each side of him. Just setting it up on the tee. I usually make the assumption that they're going to be soccer-style kickers. He's stepping it off and then usually get that sideways step. It'll be a right-footed soccer-style approach.
Bankus and Knorr await. This District 2 Quad A semifinal is underway as Cole's kick will be fielded by Bankus at the 9-yard line. Ryan to the 15, makes a nice move to the 20 and is cut down in the open field about the 23-yard line.
A.J. Kaharski getting on down there. The first man down was Tahid Jewell, but as you mentioned, Bankus able to sidestep that, but not Kaharski.
That's where Berwick will put it in play against the Valley View defense that plays a 4-3. Dante Randall, Lewis Merriam, Robert Altieri, Steve Howler in the front four. Linebackers Jordan Rebar, Dylan Walsh, and Andrew Hyde. The corners are Colin Skeen and Chris Consoretti. Sean McAdoo and Tahid Jewell are the safeties.
Mentioned only 2 or 3 players go 2 ways in that defense and offense.
3 receivers to the left to start the game for the Bulldogs as Matt Lonsinski operates out of the gun. Low snap. The ball is picked off by Noor, and he is brought down the line of scrimmage. Boy, I can't remember another problem on a snap from Andrew Blockus this entire season.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame conditions. While it's a little damp if you're trying to write on paper, it's certainly dry on the field. It didn't affect the football. But that one did come out low. Benny Noor able to pick it up, though, and lose just 2 yards on it, where it could have been disastrous with turnover.
Now they're marking it right at the line of scrimmage on the sticks across the way. So we'll call it 2nd and 10. Berwick from the 22. Again, 3 receivers to the left. Wanzinski out of the gun. Good snap this time, and he fires a pass, and he has his man. The completion to Bo Sheptock, but only for minimal yardage, out to about the 25-yard line.
Bo Sheptock not normally targeted, just his 3rd catch of the year. And limited yardage, hoping he can make the catch and run. And they'll move the sticks about 2 yards.
3rd down and 7. Berwick at their own 26-yard line. So we expected a lot of running in this game. We may still see it, but Berwick coming out with the spread and going to the air.
Of course, you could spread just to spread the defense outside with you and still run it.
3rd and 7. Wanzinski out of the gun. A slot to the left. Wide receiver right. Has the snap. Back to throw. Plenty of time. Looking long for Slabinski. And incomplete. Ball pretty well thrown. Good coverage. And a battle for the football at the Valley View 30-yard line.
Chris Conceretti was able to stay with him, but Slabinski did have the step. The ball came down through his arms as Conceretti is able to kind of give him a little bit of a pull at the time the ball was hitting him, just enough distraction.
Colin Skeen back in single safety, anticipating the punt from Benny Noor. Ethan Lear does the long snapping for the Bulldogs. Noor back at the Berwick 10. Good snap. Kick is away. Skeen backpedals, fields it at the 35-yard line. Gets by one man at the 40, the 45, and finally ridden down about the 49-yard line. So good field position for Valley View on their first possession. They'll be going against a Berwick defense that lines up with Harrison Snyder and Alex Hacker at the ends. James Deandra, Andrew Blockus at the tackles. The linebackers, Spencer Kishbaugh, Tristan English, and Taji Taylor. The corners will be Benny Noor, Rowan Slabinski, Dre Wilk, and Bo Sheptock are the safeties.
First man down, needed to do a little bit more there, Jim. Save that return.
From the 49, back to throw is Nemo. Gets the pass away to the left side, and a minimal gain in the Berwick territory, about the 48-yard line.
Yeah, caught by Connor Hilling, the man who usually does the running out of the backfield. Strong pressure from the left defensive end coming in, I believe it was Taji Taylor. But the quarterback anticipated and able to thread the ball to that side to Hilling on the screen pass.
2nd down and 7 for Valley View at the Berwick 48-yard line. Christopher Savkov enters the lineup as a wide receiver. He's to the far left. McIntyre in the slot. Hilling gets the call, and he will not get to the line of scrimmage. Great defense. Tristan English coming from his linebacker spot.
Trying to catch the other number, Jim, 78, Liam Carroll. Penetrated from defensive tackle and was able to grab and turn the man, spin him, and then they were able to finish him after that.
Loss of a yard in the play. 3rd down and 8 for Valley View as they will check Rafe Evans into the lineup, usually at a tight end position. Now watch for Skeen out of the Wildcat, and that's what we have here. He averages 13 yards a carry from this formation. Long count, takes the snap, pitches the ball out here to the left, and it's going nowhere as Harrison Snyder wraps up the ball carrier right at the line of scrimmage.
Sean McKinder was the man who made that catch on the pitch, Jim. It was forward, so it goes as a passing play. Kind of a sweeping action, so it's a pass that's like a run. But Berwick played it very well.
Getting a yard on the play. It's 4th down and 7. And puts him on for Valley View. And
Stuff it out. You could comfortably see that they were not going to get there. They had field position, which allowed for the fake punt. Now, Berwick will have a little better field position than it did to start the game.
Bulldogs have it at their own 44-yard line. Double handoff on that fake.
Strange.
Almost like you would see with the wing T. And Hilling ends up with the ball. But Berwick was up to the task, and the Bulldogs have it for their second possession at their own 44-yard line. 7:49 to go in the scoreless first quarter.
Might have been a little too tricky by half, Jim. I think on the fake punt, you want to hit people immediately with the surprise, not double handoffs.
Lonsinski hands the ball to Benny Noor, his first carry of the game, and he gains up to the 49-yard line. Good first down carry. Benny has been playing that tailback position the latter part of this season and playing it well. Averages just under 6 yards to carry. Got 5 there. 2nd and 5 Bulldogs.
Berwick's version of the counter tray, pulling backside lineman from right to left to lead him up into the C-gap on the far side.
2nd down, Bulldogs. They mark it at the 48, so give them 4 on the play. 6 yards to go for the first down. Tajee Taylor on a wing to the right side, slot to the left. Lonsinski gives to Noor again with the Tajee Taylor out in front. Noor still on his feet, has the first down at the Valley View 45-yard line.
Yeah, it was get out of my way if you're not going to block harder than that. He was running over his own people. He got the explosion from the tailback. He had a lot of people at the point of attack blocking and creating interference. But if a lane doesn't open, he'll push his own men to get to the chains, and he does.
6 yards on the carry by Benny Noor. 1st and 10 Berwick at the Valley View 46-yard line.
2 strong runs by Benny Noor. We mentioned that's a key to the game. Which team can establish its running back, which defense can stop it.
Slot to the left side. Spencer Kishbaugh now on a wing to the right. He goes in motion. Bad snap again. Lonsinski goes back and gets it and is buried back at the 41-yard line. 2nd bad snap of this opening quarter. This one really hurts. It'll be a big loss. Back to the 41 of Berwick.
Yes, it will. I don't know what the problem is. The conditions seem dry. There's no rain. There's no wetness. There is a dampness that I'm noticing. You sort of get a glaze of wetness on things, and if that's affecting the football, it may affect the snaps. To have 2 is just out of the ordinary for Berwick.
2nd and 23 for Berwick. Back at their own 42-yard line. That really takes it.
Yeah, they had momentum with the running game. You have stoppage.
Timeout, Bulldogs. 5:48 to go. Scoreless first quarter. You're listening to Berwick Football and Sports Radio, HLM.
Welch's Towing and Repair proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs and wishes them a successful year. Welch's Towing and Repair has a long tradition of helping. You can call Welch's 24/7 at 759-9737 if you are in need of a tow, jumpstart, tire change, are locked out, or to request them on scene if you're in an accident. Welch's accepts all major insurance and motor clubs, and they offer all types of preventive maintenance and state inspections for cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Welch's Towing and Repair, South Mercer Street in Berwick, and at their South Central Storage Facility, Columbia Boulevard in Berwick.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog football. WHLM Bloomsburg, WBWX Berwick, HLM.
Berwick with the football following their timeout. 2nd down and 23. Bulldogs back at their 42-yard line. Slot to the right side. Matt Lonsinski out of the gun. In motion is Bo Sheptock. Fake to him. Lonsinski back to throw. Setting up a screen to the right side. Incomplete. Flags down the play. Holding against Berwick. So this possession has become a disaster for the Bulldogs. Lost 13 on the bad snap. Now maybe losing 10 behind the line of scrimmage where it started.
I would accept the penalty and push them back. The yardage is significant for Berwick to get the first down. Just seems rather impossible. Screen's a good call, but a little too much pressure coming from the right. He was able to dump it off to the left, but that was being defended by Andrew Hyde rather well. He was near Benny Moore and prevented the ball from getting to him, and Valley View will accept the 10 yards, Jim.
We will be keeping track of penalties because that is a significant aspect. Berwick's played very well the second part of this season, but the last 2 weeks they've combined for 20 penalties. And a game like this just cannot afford them. So Berwick once had the ball in Valley View territory. Now they have it back at their own 24-yard line.
And mistakes on their own part. The holding and the bad snap. Second bad snap of the game.
Second and a country mile. Osinski gives the ball to Noor off the left side. Good run by Benny over the 30 to the 31-yard line. He'll pick up 7 on the play.
Naheed Jewell coming up from safety. Has to eventually fill in and make the stop. But they'll give up yards of that nature because of the significant yardage needed to get to the chains.
And a significant development. Benny Noor just went off in pain, and he is on the sideline on his back. Obviously a huge development where Berwick is concerned. Here's third down and long, and I mean really long, from the 31. Valley View will get Berwick 5 free ones as they jump across.
Yeah, hard to miss that guy jumping across, Jim. Louis Marion, he's a senior, 6 foot, 310 pounds in the middle of the lineup. Tough to run on the inside with someone of that stoutness, able to fill gaps. But he'll give Berwick 5 the easy way. Still a country mile up.
Remember, Benny Noor does so much for Berwick, including punt.
Yeah.
Berwick third down and long here.
I don't think he's going to be ready to punt.
The give on the play is to post Sheptag off the right side. He's tripped up after minimal gain out to about the 38-yard line, and that punt team will come on.
Actually, Ryan Bank is taking it back there. Safe type of call. Benny Noor looks to be stretching out, the type of injury most men don't want to get. We'll see if he's able to return from it. But right now he won't be into punt. Instead, it's going to be Andrew Blockus getting the ball from Ethan Lear on the long snap.
Sean McIntyre deep, along with Colin Skeen for Valley View. Low snap! Picking it up is Blockus, and he will be buried back at the 28-yard line. What an uncharacteristic first quarter for Berwick. Andrew Blockus has been great snapping from his center position. He's had 2 bad snaps. Ethan Lear's been terrific snapping on punts. He has a bad snap, and Valley View has it at the Berwick 28-yard line.
But they took a risk on their fake punt, gave Berwick wonderful position, and everything was backwards on the Berwick drive, and they come up with much better field position than they got off a 60-yard punt.
4:08 to go. Scoreless first quarter. It is Colin Skeen in the Wildcat. He usually carries the football. He will here, but for no yardage, his Berwick is all over the play.
Tristan English came up from linebacker to stop the play. And then other linemen came on over and helped him out with the tackle. Bruce Hartman in particular part of that. So a good stop by Berwick in the front.
A loss of a yard on the carry by Skeen. Second down and 11. Valley View at the Berwick 29-yard line.
This one's not going according to script, Jim.
Now Skeen under center. Gives the ball to Hilling. Hilling looking for room off the right side against Berwick. Stout on the defense. He'll get a yard or 2 on the play. Andrew Blockus among the people in for Berwick.
And the offensive line, you noticed, it wasn't moving. They went on first down. The center and quarterback were aware, as was the running back. But neither of the guards, neither of the tackles moved. So something screwed up in the huddle call where they didn't have the cadence right. Helps Berwick.
Third down and 10. Valley View at the Berwick 28. Skeen remains at the quarterback controls. And he will once again be under center. Power eye to the right on 3rd and 10. Fake toss sweep. Skeen keeps it off the left side. Has some running room and gets close to the first down yardage. He'll be a yard or 2 short off the left side.
He faked the pitch, and everyone in that power eye went to the right, and then he turned and bootlegged behind the pulling guard. Found a little seam in the C gap. As you mentioned, they are going to be short, Jim, and it looks like about 4 yards. I have a tough time finding that 1920s vintage down marker over there. That's nothing but a little black with a number on it.
4th and 4, Valley View. Big call for the Berwick 22-yard line. Power eye to the right, scheme under center. Long count. He's going to run it off the right side. Jumped in to turn the corner. He does so. He's got the first down, then some, and he is in for the touchdown. There is no holding call against Valley View. This one is coming back.
Spencer Kishbaugh had contain on the outside, and eventually this man got outside of him on the quarterback sweeping action. He had a number of people power blocking and leading for him, and somewhere within that interference was the hold. Might have been on Spencer Kishbaugh because I can't see where he wouldn't have made the play otherwise. That will make it harder.
Back to the 31-yard line. It'll be 4th and 13 for Valley View.
Mistake after mistake by both teams, Jim. The offenses just can't generate anything of a positive drive.
Tahid Jewell comes in as a wide receiver. He's one of 3 receivers to the left.
6'3".
4th down call. Skeen has the snap. Back to throw. Big pass rush. Gets the pass away. It's caught by Randall, and he is wrapped up at the 29-yard line. Terrific defense by the Bulldogs, who survived the bad snap. They'll take over the football with 1:43 to go in a scoreless first quarter.
They're coming hard, Jim, from the left side. Alex Hacker really came, and another man came up. Quarterback basically pushed it forward toward the fullback, who basically was pass blocking. I don't believe he was looking for it. It wasn't a center screen by design. Berwick had people in the area to make the stop, so big defensive stand by Berwick.
Bulldogs will take over at their own 29-yard line. Their defense comes up big. And Benny Moore, who was shaken up earlier, is in there, and he is in the Wildcat, awaiting the snap. The slot to either side. Moore fakes handoff, keeps the football, has some running room, and then it closes quickly at about the 34-yard line.
That zone read type of play where he's going to put it in the belly of Ryan Bankus, angling from left to right, pull it out when he reads the play, and then takes it up the middle. Yeah, trying to find that invisible down marker. It looks like about 4 yards.
2nd down and 6. Berwick at their own 33-yard line. Quick moving first quarter. 1:13 to go. Scoreless. Spencer Kishbaugh is a wide receiver to the right. Noor again in the Wildcat. Has the snap. Fakes handoff. Keeps the football. Has running to the 40. The 45. And spins up to midfield for first down. Benny Noor to midfield out of the Wildcat.
Measure it off, Jim. Zone read again. Same play. Bankus to his left. Fakes off to the right. They put it in his belly like they might give it. It might be optional. But he pulls it out and then takes it up in the A-gap to the left of the center. The misdirection gets the defense leaning one way, and then he's going against that grain and makes nice yardage.
17 yards and carried by Benny Noor, who gets a breather now. Matt Linsinski back in. The quarterback controls, awaiting the shotgun snap from midfield. Gives the ball to Ryan Bankus off the left side. Nothing doing.
No, nowhere to go. That big interior lineman is there, Jim. Louis Marion. We mentioned he's going to be tough to move out at 310 pounds, and that time they just couldn't move him.
2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs. That will be the final play of this opening quarter. Berwick nothing, Valley View nothing. You're listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLM.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates. Why go anywhere else when Red's Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding. Specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Shore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties. With owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog football. WHLM Bloomsburg, WBWX Berwick. HLM.
One quarter of the books here at John Hensey's War Memorial Stadium in Peckville. This is a District 2 4A semifinal. Berwick and Valley View locked in a scoreless tie. Bulldogs with the ball at midfield, moving from our right to our left as this second quarter begins. They have a second down and 10. Three receivers to the right. Lisinski has the snap. A quick out to the right. He throws it way over the head on the intended receiver, Rowan Slavinsky.
Yeah, Slavinsky's tall to 6'3", so you think I can put it up high for him. The corner came up immediately, so even if it's caught, it's at the line of scrimmage where the tackle would be made. But it sailed over his head.
Third down and 10. Berwick from midfield, just underway here in the second. Clear this game to advance to the District 2 final to take on the winner of tonight's game, North Pocono at Dallas. We'll bring you an update on that one as soon as we get it. Three receivers to the right for the Bulldogs. Denny Noor in the lineup to the left of Lisinski, who waits the shotgun snap, and he has it, and he's back to throw. He's looking. Here comes the pass rush, and he is going to be dropped. Oh, he gets the pass away downfield. It's incomplete. Lisinski got the pass away. There is a flag, another holding call coming against Berwick. Probably be declined. It would be a 4th and 10 from Berwick at midfield.
Was deep, though, in the backfield by about 8 yards, and if you march 10 from that spot, and then you feel, hey, the defense is strong enough, we can pressure.
They are declining it.
Yeah, makes sense. Berwick's also struggled in the punting game, Jim. We should have Benny Noor back for this. Doesn't matter who the punter is if the ball doesn't get to him. Ethan Lear's been perfect all year until that previous punt snap.
Skeen and McIntyre deep for Valley View. Noor back at the Berwick 36-yard line. Perfect snap this time. Kick is away, a line drive kick. Bounces at the 20, taken on a hop there. It's McIntyre, and he will be dropped inside the 20-yard line. Ethan Lear, who does such a good job getting down under punts after he snaps, was among the people there for the Bulldogs.
He was, but he was down with another man, and both surrounded the man who picked it up on the bounce, and he then split to two. The reason he got down there is to make the tackle. We saw first man miss on the earlier punt. They did recover well, though, and pinned him in.
Yeah, in fact, he lost yardage on the return. The call goes to Randall, the fullback, quick hitter, and he's got a good gain on the 25 out to the 27-yard line. Dante Randall averages 8 yards a carry from that fullback spot.
He's a big stud, Jim. I was watching him warm up, and I was impressed by his size. So when they do give him the ball, he can certainly rumble with it, and he'll take it there for 8.
Second down and 2. Cougars at their own 26-yard line. We're early in the second quarter, no score in the game. Valley View had one great opportunity, taking over the Berwick 29, but the Bulldogs' defense was up to the task. Skeen under center, empty backfield. Skeen keeps the football, hit behind the line, breaks free, and he won't break free of Tajee Taylor. It'll lose yardage back at the 22.
Chase Shucker's got a great push, Jim. He threw the whole play off. After that, it was kind of scrambling. Tajee Taylor does finish it off with a tackle for the loss, but give Chase Shucker the credit on that play.
They mark it at the 24, a loss of 2. So it'll be third down and 4 for Valley View at their 24-yard line.
Who eventually carried that, Jim?
That was Skeen. And a strange-looking play. Empty backfield. No one back there for it. Here's the third down play. Skeen under center. Hilling is the running back. Skeen fakes handoff, keeps the football, looking for the first down. He's very close.
Tajee Taylor had him, and Dre Wilk came up and didn't quite finish it off. I don't know if he got the forward lead or not. They're going to move the chains, so they do get the first down.
Right at the 29-yard line. 1st and 10 for Valley View. This team can really run the football. Haven't shown it yet in this game, but they average over 266 yards rushing a game, and they played a very formidable schedule. I formation behind Skeen. The give on the place to Hilling. Big hole off the right side. Breaks a tackle 25 to midfield and forced out of bounds by Spencer Kishbaugh at the Berwick 47-yard line.
We've been seeing so much of Colin Skeen at quarterback and basically decided to run out of a wildcat or from directly under center. You can forget about the talents of 1,000-yard rusher Connor Hilling. Takes it off the right side, finds a quick seam, and explodes for big yardage.
24 yards and a carry by Hilling. 1st and 10. Valley View at the Berwick 47-yard line. 9.5 minutes to go in a scoreless first half. Skeen under center. Blocking back to either side. Berwick showing blitz. Skeen keeps the ball. Tajee Taylor had him, doesn't get him, and Skeen gets away. And finally, Tristan English makes the stop. But boy, Berwick had Skeen for a loss. He gets 5 yards on a carry to the Berwick 42.
Yeah, a lot of almosts, Jim, throughout this half. Berwick getting very close to making impact plays. Tajee Taylor gave it all he had. Coming with a blitz on the inside, came through unimpeded, had a shot at that quarterback, but just couldn't pull him down. Give Skeen credit. Then he tight ropes the sideline a little bit and gets halfway to the chains.
2nd down and 5. Valley View at the Berwick 42-yard line. Skeen out of the gun, Hilling to his left. Skeen's got an option. Pitches the ball to McIntyre, and he gets to the 40, and that's it.
Call the pass play, Jim. A little bit of a shuffle pass action. Berwick had a man right in the face of the quarterback. In fact, he was looking to see is he going to run left or run right. Instead, he pitches it forward to McIntyre, who makes the second catch, but for very minimal gain, maybe 2.
2 yards is what they give him. 3rd down and 3 coming up for the Cougars. A.J. Kuharski enters that offensive lineup.
Berwick needs to stop on this play.
Kuharski's a tight end to the left side. Skeen takes the snap off the right side. Cut down at the 40-yard line. What a terrific defensive play by Tristan English.
Yeah, you saw it. I don't know if it's Bacchus or English. I saw the 4 as the second digit, and Tristan English, the 34, comes up. Big play. Will they punt? They fake punt from in this type of field position before. They might feel they can go with it and rely on their defense.
4th and personnel 3 for Valley View. Skeen went to the sideline, got the play call, so they're going to go for it again. This time for the Berwick 40. 4th and 3. Skeen out of the gun. Man in motion left to right. Skeen has the snap, play action. He's back for his first throw, and it's a long downfield, and it's incomplete. Dre Wilk is up to the task, back at the 10-yard line.
Tried to hit Zach Rudelavage, Jim, big tight end, streaking down, but the safety playing a true center field saw him come into the open, changed his route from the center over toward the right hash, was in position to knock it away, and Berwick will take it over as this team refused to punt.
Twice. Valley View in Berwick territory. Twice Berwick has the defensive answer. The Bulldogs take over with 7:13 to go in the half and no score.
A little cocky in a way to not punt. But it shows a confidence in your defense to give up this type of field position without punting.
Spencer Kishbaugh on a wing to the right. Tajee Taylor, the tight end, on the left. Lutzinski awaits a shotgun snap. Has it. Pitches the ball to Benny. Noor off the right side. Noor looks for room, and there's nothing there. He'll get a yard to the 41.
Now a good linebacker play. Shuffling, and then eventually filling. That was Dante Randolph, Jim, who eventually comes up from the bottom of the pile. Nice block, kicked the man out in the backfield, and Benny Noor took it up inside of that, but not enough blockers to stop Dante Randall.
Second down and 9. Berwick at their own 41-yard line. Bulldogs slow getting out of the huddle. Dre Wilk is wide to the right. Rowan Slavinsky's in the slot to that side.
Still 10 seconds on the play clock.
Slavinsky has the shotgun snap, gives it to Noor off the right side and gets to the 44. A pickup of 3 on the play. It'll be third down and 6 coming for the Bulldogs.
Pulling guard ran right by the linebacker who eventually made the tackle. That was Andrew Hyde. If he kicked him, there might have been more yardage to the play.
Third down call coming. The Bulldogs need 6 as we go under 6 minutes remaining in this scoreless first half.
Ball is on the right hash, the Berwick side of the field. Right side here to the left.
Wide receiver to either side. Spencer Kishbaugh, the leading receivers, on a wing to the left. Monsinski, flag down. This is going to go against Berwick. Monsinski will just throw it away.
Was it a movement, Jim?
Yes, there was a running back who is not set for the Bulldogs. It's a motion call against Berwick. If it's declined, it will be a 4th down and 6.
A little surprised it wasn't blown in. The only thing there that can happen, you have to get a positive play, they take the penalty.
It is declined, and it is 4th and 6.
Punting situation. Berwick's had some adventures with the snaps.
A lot of subs coming on for Berwick and for Valley View as well. A lot of scrambling going on. Players trying to get off the field. I don't think they were convinced that Berwick was going to punt necessarily.
I don't understand their punting philosophy in Valley View as a coaching staff. Most teams, this is automatic punt.
There's the kick by Noor. Line drive kick is picked up by Skeen inside the 20, trying to get outside right to the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45 to midfield, and finally ring out of bounds in Valley View territory. Skeen with a great return, and Valley View in business with 5:25 to go in a scoreless first half.
Yeah, part of me as a coach is saying, don't pick up that bouncing punt. It's too dangerous, and yet he does. And it slows everything down where Berwick should have coverage. Again, Berwick seems to be missing with the first people down there. Then he breaks it here up the near sideline. Beautiful return.
40 yards on the return. Valley View 1st and 10 at the Berwick 42-yard line. Skeen gives to Hilling. Hilling has some room up the middle. And a push from behind, and they're still going. He gets to the 32-yard line.
Back standard quarterback Dominic Nemo, Jim, underneath, and a standard running play up the middle. And boy, the standard running play, building off the momentum of the punt return, goes for great yards.
10 yards for Connor Hilling, 1st and 10, Valley View at the Berwick 32-yard line. Power eye to the right side. Nemo under center, gives to Hilling again, up the middle, got a running room, breaks the tackle, 15-10, 5 in for a touchdown. What a great effort by Connor Hilling. He's not the biggest running back, but he ran over a Berwick defender and goes 32 yards for the first score of this game.
Yeah, Berwick has a smaller safety in Jim, so even though Connor Hilling's 5'7", 165, he has a 10-yard sprint. Catches that safety in the numbers, knocks him back, and then keeps on going after the collision for a beautiful run.
32 yards altogether for Connor Hilling. His 18th rushing touchdown of the season. Matt Cole's been terrific on extra points this season. His kick is up, and the kick is good. Time on the field, 4:59 to go first half. Valley View 7, Berwick nothing. You're listening to Bulldogs Football Sports Radio, HLN.
The Berwick Medicine Shop at their new location, 500 Fowler Avenue in Berwick, is your favorite pharmacist team, like him, that you've trusted for more than 20 years, and they've gotten even better. Free blister packs, free home delivery with no tips, free COVID testing and rapid testing, and less than a 15-minute average wait time on prescriptions. Why would you go to the big box pharmacies where you might wait for days? Go to the name you know and trust, the Berwick Medicine Shop, and follow their Facebook page. Berwick Medicine Shop proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog football. The HLM Bloomsburg and BWX Berwick. HLM.
Kickoff for Valley View following his extra point. 7-0 Cougars, 4:59 to go in the half. His kick is high and deep and Benny Moore at the Berwick 10-yard line to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, and he's stuck right there. Second effort will give him a yard or two more. As Valley View struck quickly, skiing a 40-yard punt return to the Berwick 42. A 10-yard run by Connor Hilling, followed by a 32-yard touchdown run by Hilling. 7-0 Cougars, 4:51 now remaining in the half.
Berwick needs to respond in kind, Jim. Momentum all on Valley View's way. 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes to go in the half. A game that was basically a stalemate. And Berwick has to get themselves right back in this on this drive.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. It's going to be Denny Noor taking snaps in the Wildcat. Ryan Bankus to his left. Noor, face handoff, keeps the football, has a running with 35 out to the 40-yard line. Denny Noor from the Wildcat picks up 14 yards and a Berwick first down.
Again, they're running that zone read. He's putting it in the belly of Bankus, then pulls it out. That time almost following Bankus off the right side. He went to the right side of center. A little different hole that he was able to attack and find the opening. He runs hard.
Denny Noor had a 17-yard run earlier in this half. That was 14 right there. And Berwick 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line.
Lonzinski in now with Denny Noor aside of him.
And Bo Sheptock goes in motion. Fake to him. The call goes to Bankus. And he gets out to the 45-yard line. We're under 4 minutes to go in this opening half. Berwick trailing 7-0. Bulldogs with 2 timeouts remaining as they have a 2nd down and 6 at their own 44.
Thought he had a little bit more on that, but again, tough to see where they're putting that down marker. It's almost invisible on the far side.
Lonzinski went to the sideline, got the play call. 2nd and 6. Trey Wilk wide to the right. There's a slot to the left side. Bo Sheptock in the slot. Rowan Slavinsky outside of him. Has a fake handoff and a keeper by Lonzinski. It'll pick up a yard, maybe 2. 3rd down coming.
Same zone read. That time the fake goes to Denny Noor. The quarterback Lonzinski takes it to the opposite side, the right side. Not as much of a seam or not quite as strong of a runner. Denny Noor really has that play down.
3rd down and 4. Bulldogs as we go under 3 minutes remaining this opening half.
They'd like to cut it at least in half to 2 or 3 yards, Jim. They may go for another 3 minutes.
3 receivers to the left. Lonzinski out of the gun. 3rd down call. Throws over the middle. Intercepted. Intercepted. Return on the sideline to 30. The 25. McIntyre knocked out of bounds at about the 8-yard line. It looked like there were 2 Berwick receivers wide open. The pass went between the 2 of them right into McIntyre.
Yeah, not a good pass. He did have 2 receivers in that sort of 8-yard range. One to the left, one to the right. McIntyre in the middle. And McIntyre more surprised than anyone that it comes this way as he just kind of squatting in the zone, ready to break left and right. Instead it comes to him, catches it, and almost returns it for the touchdown.
1st and goal, Valley View. Not sure what Matt Lonzinski saw there as Valley View uses a timeout. 2:39 to go to half. They lead Berwick 7-0. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
Riverview Block of Berwick, with over 75 years of service, can handle all your block and concrete needs. They carry all sizes of concrete block, including decorative E.P. Henry landscaping block. Their concrete is PennDOT approved and delivered with front discharge trucks. Riverview Block also carries masonry supplies, tools, cement, sand, and stone. For prompt delivery, call Riverview Block, 570-752-7191. Riverview Block is proud to support the Berwick Bulldogs.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog football. WHLM Bloomsburg. WBWX Berwick. HLM.
John McIntyre with a long interception return for Valley View. Sets up the Cougars at the Berwick 8-yard line as they look to add to a 7-0 lead with 2:39 to go in the half. Skeen is the quarterback. Power I to the right side. Berwick showing run blitz. Skeen will keep it off the right. Blatters out front. He'll go in, standing up for about a new touchdown. Colin Skeen from 8 yards out. Valley View builds the lead.
Showed the power. Double tight ends. Power I to the right. He takes the step back, follows all the power backs off the right side. They eventually turn everybody in. He finds his way out the pylon untouched. Easy touchdown after the demoralizing interception return.
Matt Cole will attempt the extra point. McIntyre does the holding for the Cougars. Cole has missed only one all season long. Snap, placement, kick is out. And the kick is good. Time on the field, 2:34 to go in the opening half. Valley View 14, Berwick nothing. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
The community of Berwick knows Bulldog tough. So when it's time to remodel your garage or replace your overhead door, go with the quality doors and service the Red Ribbon represents. Look for the Red Ribbon logo. It's a symbol of 100 years of great doors, great installation, and great service. Give Overhead Door Company of Berwick a call, 570-759-3053, or visit their website at ohdberwick.com. Overhead Door Company of Berwick proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog football. WHLM Bloomsburg. WBWX Berwick. HLM.
14-0 is the Valley View lead. Some big plays by them in this second quarter. Long punt return, setting up one touchdown. Long interception return, setting up another. And the Valley View crowd just heard that North Pocono is leading Dallas 20-7.
Yep.
Well, that would be big for Valley View. If they win this one, they would be at home next week for that game against North Pocono. As the kick by Cole is a beauty to the far side of the field. Returned by Bankus to the 20, and that's about it. Good coverage downfield by the Cougars.
Yeah, Connor Schwartz getting on down, tripping him up deep. They've got very good coverage. Berwick really struggling to get that ball at least back to the touchback spot.
1st and 10, Bulldogs from their 21. They have 2 timeouts remaining. 2 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the half. And Berwick trailing by a score of 14-0.
Ball team huddles on the sideline with the coaches. They'll come on out straight to the ball. Andrew Blockus. Center it back.
Slot to the left side. Spencer Kishball wide to the left.
And he should not be alone. They're bringing the man on very late, and they'll need a timeout.
So Berwick will waste one of their 2 timeouts remaining. 2:28 to go in the half. Bulldogs trail 14-0. You're listening to Berwick Football and Sports Radio HLM.
Mason's Monogramming has the largest selection of Bulldog items in Berwick. Family owned with more than 30 years experience and new Bulldog wear for every age, including masks, tees, polos, sweater shirts, jackets, and hats. They even have brand new indestructible silicone cups, koozies, car coasters, decals, and more. Shop at masonsmonograms.com for their new items and select in-person pickup or shipping right to you. Follow their Instagram at Mason's Monogram Monogram for their latest new items. Mason's Monogram Service in Berwick. Let them personalize for you.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog football. The HLM Bloomsburg. WX Berwick. HLM.
Berwick following the timeout and sending Noor off the right side up to the 26-yard line. Bulldogs did not want to use that last timeout, but they had to. Now they're down to just one with the clock running at 2:14 to go in the half. That was a good carry of 6 yards to the 27, 2nd down and 4.
And Betty Noor again with the zone read out of the Wildcat. Taking the bank is that time going from right to left. Betty Noor takes the other side.
Noor awaits the shotgun snap. Hands off to Vegas. He'll lose yardage back to the 24-yard line. Defender got in there and blew that one up.
Yes, he did, Jim. Dante Randall, that big defensive end. Got the penetration. They've been showing the fake about the 6'9" Backus has faked that, and the quarterback has kept it. That time they decided to give it, and the defensive end really smashing on into him.
3rd and 6, Berwick at their own 24-yard line. Clock running, 1:20 remaining in the half. Trey Wilk wide to the right side. Slot to the left.
Slonzinski quarterbacking.
Hands off to Noor. He's got some room, but not enough for first down. Gets out to the 28-yard line, and now Valley View, I believe, will call the timeout. The official is about to point toward Berwick, and now is there any timeout?
No one's leaving the field. Berwick's changing personnel. You're just seeing the punting units coming on for you.
Valley View just used a timeout. I don't know why they waited. They used some valuable time. We'll keep it here with 1:04 remaining. They have one timeout left.
Berwick's had adventures on punts, Jim. One bad snap where Blockus got caught back. He was punting when Benny Noor was injured for a few plays. Set up Valley View with good field position, but they couldn't capitalize. Then on a punt, it was allowed to bounce. Berwick seemed to have people down to be able to stop it. We saw Skeen pick up the bouncing punt, return it well, and then 2 plays later, they turned it into a touchdown with that momentum.
So here we go, 1:04 to go in the half. Valley View with one timeout remaining. Colin Skeen, who had that great punt return Dan referred to, is back along with Sean McIntyre. Those two had the 2 biggest plays of this half. McIntyre with the interception return, Skeen with the punt return. And Benny Noor back at the Berwick 14-yard line, awaiting the snap from Ethan Lear. And flags and whistles loaded dead.
You hate to hear that when you get a good snap off and you know you're going to get the punt away. But as the lateral snap through the center's legs in the air, we hear it being whistled dead. 5 yards against Berwick on a false start. Not the type of penalty that should occur. You're not going anywhere. You're freezing. It's sort of a passive weight blocking. Well, just breaking the stance.
4th and 11 now for Berwick. Valley View is going to get good field position as Noor standing back at about the Berwick 8-yard line.
And you just had a good snap. It's not automatic to get one. And there's sort of a dampness that's leaning on the football a little bit.
Noor waits the snap a little bit low, but he picks it up and gets the kick away. It will be fielded by Skeen. No, he doesn't field it. Flags down the play. And we'll sort this out with 53.1 seconds to go.
Penalty as the headhunters were running downfield about 20 yards in, so not near the kicker, not near the punt return. They might have held up somebody. I don't think anything Berwick's headhunters could do that would result in that. Holding against Valley View should be from the end of the return. It was dangerous again. Valley View's willing to pick up bouncing punts, but Berwick is really there. But, you know, they're coming and sometimes running past and not making a tackle. So Valley View was thinking about picking up the bounce back away at the last minute. I thought it may have even been touched. I really think it was touched, but it was too close for my comfort, where imagine you running away from that.
So Valley View with the football back at their 29-yard line. They have one timeout remaining. They lead Berwick 14-0, 53.1 seconds to go in the half. Skeen has the snap, rolls right. No, it's Nemo. Nemo with the pass, and it is caught. And out of bounds is Sean McIntyre out about the 38-yard line. So Dominic Nemo in at quarterback. It's McIntyre. But again, just 46.6 seconds to go. The gain was 8 yards to the 37.
McIntyre had two other catches, but a 1-yarder and a 2-yarder. The other catch is Hilling a 3-yarder and Randall a 3-yarder. So that's the longest one, the 8 yards there.
Slot to the left side. Nemo out of the gun. No, it's Skeen. Takes the snap. Sweeps the left side. Has some running room and is forced out of bounds at the 45-yard line. And there are flags on the play. Yeah, the 15 against Berwick.
Yeah, Berwick had a number of people meet him at the sideline, and the frustration's coming out. He was able to break the contain with the run. Berwick wasn't able to hold it on in. Valley View has a player down very late, Jim. Don't know what happened. Well away from the play, the center of the field, and boys, I don't know what could have happened. But anyway, Berwick gets people finally pushing him out of bounds. Dre Wilk, and I think it was Bruce Hartman, might have been the other. 65. Let me see, make sure I have my numbers right. Yeah. And then a little too aggressive in throwing him toward the bench. This injury is a bit of a puzzle. There are no Berwick players near the Valley View player, no Valley View player around. Didn't believe he got hurt on the play, that nobody recognized he was down, kind of flailing. But they're helping him up right now, and it is number 4, Jim. That is Colin Skeen. He ran that, so he must have got hurt after going into the bench and then running back to huddle. 20 yards away, goes down to the ground.
He is walking off under his own power. The penalty puts the ball at the Berwick 40-yard line. There's 36 seconds to go. Valley View has a timeout left, and they have an excellent kicker.
How long was the run, Jim?
Well, the run would be 8 yards.
Looked like more because he started deep and then had to run a lot east-west before turning north-south. But the penalty's the big part. Berwick's hurt themselves with penalty in the last few games, Jim. It hasn't hurt them, or it's taken away a win. In a game of this magnitude, 15-yarders like that, they're game breakers.
And it could result in points for Valley View at the end of this half. Dominic Nemo is the quarterback as Skeen goes to the locker room. Man in motion to the right. Nemo rolls right. Stops, plants, then run and slides down at the 39-yard line. He'll pick up just a yard on the play.
But allow the clock to keep going unless Valley View uses its timeout, and it must have because the clock has stopped.
And they're using that timeout, and that's significant, Andy, because if you want to complete a pass and get a field goal unit on without timeouts, it's tough.
Mistake by Nemo, Jim. He's a youngster, but he probably should have found some way to throw that away and preserve the timeout. Incomplete, overthrow a receiver, throw to the sideline. But instead he went into a run and then a slide. So you know that the clock's going to continue running, and they have no gain, maybe a yard on that. So, wasted the timeout that the team didn't need.
So no timeouts left for Valley View. They could still get field goal range, but they'd have to complete a pass at the sideline.
Well, you get down the field, and you could throw down the middle and then get down and spike it rather quickly, too. But, again, you're getting a little headsy for high school football, but this is a rather well-coached team, and they had time to talk about it.
25.1 seconds remaining in the half. Valley View 14, Berwick nothing. Valley View, no timeouts left. Second down and 9 at the Berwick 39.
Nemo at 61% on the year, but I'm imagining a lot of that's play action.
He waits the shotgun snap. Back to throw. Sets up the screen to Randall and Berwick all over the play at the 40-yard line.
Randall's a big tight end. They tried to get him almost like a center screen tight end moving inside. Berwick saw it rather well. He was unable to catch the ball easily. He had it kind of between his thighs for a while, but that'll run the half out.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Valley View didn't hurry to the line of scrimmage and see if they get a play to set up a field goal, but they go in satisfied with that lead. It is Valley View 14, Berwick nothing. You're listening to Bulldogs Football and Sports Radio, HLM.
If you haven't been to name brand liquidations in the Berwick Plaza Shopping Center, you're missing out on great values. At name brand liquidations, you'll save money from 50 to 90% on everything imaginable. From furniture to food to bedding, you name it. Name brand liquidations not only sells a huge variety of merchandise, they feature name brands just like their name says, at low prices. When you're in the market for anything, shop at the store that has everything. Name brand liquidations. Wishing the Berwick Bulldogs a great season.
Sports injury got you down? No one knows sports medicine like Lehigh Valley Health Network and Coordinated Health. Their unrivaled sports team has the highest orthopedic success rates in the region. With more than 30 years experience, they put athletes first and provide same-day appointments. Don't let a sports injury slow you down. Learn more at lvhn.org/sports medicine or call 888-402-LVHN.
This is Ray Metal for Blaze Alexander, Buick GMC in Greater Hazleton. So whether you're in the market for a Buick or a GMC, come on down to Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton, and see what we have to offer. We are looking for inventory. Bring your used car down. We will buy it from you on the spot. And if you're in the market for a used car, you can swing over here and see this huge selection we have right now of used inventory. We have over 200 cars on the lot and over 2,000 online at BlazeAlexander.com. Stop at Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton, Buick GMC to find out where we take the deals and have the cars the other guys don't.
If you have a child that's interested in gymnastics, or if you've been practicing the sport for years, then Access Gymnastics Academy is where you want to be. Their dedicated coaches will teach you everything you need to know to perform your best, from the basics of flexibility, form, and style, to advanced techniques that will improve your rhythm and style during a routine. Call Heidi Rebuck at Access Gymnastics Academy at 570-441-5969. That's 570-441-5969. Now enrolling for beginner to advanced classes at 917 East 7th Street in Bloomsburg.
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLM.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLM Bloomsburg, WX Berwick, HLM.
Halftime from John Hensis War Memorial Stadium in Peckville. This is a District 2 4A semifinal. And Valley View, the top seed in this tournament, leading Berwick at the break 14-0. Cougars got a break in that opening quarter. Berwick with a bad snap on a punting situation. Valley View took over at the Berwick 29-yard line, but the Bulldogs defense was up to the task. Valley View not able to move the football. Berwick taking over. Valley View in the second quarter moved from their own 18 to the Berwick 40-yard line, but again, Berwick's defense came up big, stopping the Cougars on a 4th and 3 play. But Valley View did get on the board in that second quarter. It started on a 40-yard punt return by Colin Skeen to the Berwick 42-yard line. And 2 plays later, the Cougars were on the board. The first play, a 10-yard run by Connor Hilling. The second play, a 32-yard touchdown burst by Hilling, who ran over a Berwick safety on his way to the score. Matt Cole had the extra point. Valley View had a 7-0 lead with 4:59 to go in the first half. On Berwick's next possession, Bulldogs called a pass play on 3rd down, and they appeared to have 2 receivers open. But the pass went between the 2 of them, right into the arms of Sean McIntyre of Valley View, who returned to the Berwick 8-yard line. From there was Colin Skeen on the keeper off the right side, 8 yards for the score. Matt Cole with the extra point, and that's how we stand here at halftime. It's Valley View 14 and Berwick nothing. Stay with us in the half. We'll have stats with Andy Lichty. We'll have an update on the high school football playoff scoreboard with Raven Klein. You're listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio, HLM.
Don's Towing on Route 11 in Bloomsburg can handle any tow, whether it's a car or big rig, 24/7. Tom's has roadside assistance, and your satisfaction is their priority. They always have a truck available, and you'll never wait more than 20 minutes to be picked up and on your way again. Don't let a flat tire ruin your day. Don's Towing will help you get where you need to go without breaking the bank. They accept all insurances, and those that pay out of pocket will appreciate their low prices. Don's Towing, Route 11, Bloomsburg, or check out their Facebook page.
The Mayo Funeral Homes, located at 110 Chestnut Street in Berwick and 77 Main Street in Chickashinny, are proud sponsors of Berwick Bulldog football. The Mayo Funeral Homes, serving all faiths, makes it easier for those you love with pre-arranged funeral counseling, insurance, and pre-financed funerals. Mayo Funeral Homes also offers expert guidance in both traditional and cremation services. Mayo Funeral Homes, perfection in every detail.
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLM.
Yannick Real Estate is your full-service real estate agency. Buying, selling, residential, commercial, multifamily, land, and rental management. Call Yannick Real Estate. Owner Mike Yannick, a veteran himself, served his country and has been serving this area for decades. Mike and his staff will guide you through the real estate process. Veterans, be sure to check the VA loan options. Yannick Real Estate, your full-service real estate agency. 1232 West Front Street in Berwick. Call 759-3300.
Hi, this is Cassidy from the Independent Sports Service Department, Route 11 in Bloomsburg. Does your Ford or Lincoln vehicle need service? Having trouble getting an appointment at your usual service center? At Independence Ford, we can and will take care of all your service needs. Regardless of where you purchase your Ford or Lincoln vehicle, our goal is to get you back on the road. Give me a call for an appointment today at 784-1414.
Come and get a great deal and total satisfaction.
Independence Ford, better people, better prices.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog Football, WHLM Bloomsburg, WX Berwick, HLM.
Berwick High School marching band under the direction of Anthony McDonald, entertaining here at halftime of this District 2 4A semifinal. Valley View leading Berwick by a score of 14-0. Statistics in the first half, Andy Lichty.
Well, they're going to be in favor of Valley View, Jim. 127 yards to Berwick's 46. Berwick's 46 is deceptive because of the number of yards they've lost on bad snaps to the punter. They have minus 27 that I've had to attribute to the team on 3 different plays. Now, Denny North's been running very well. 10 carries, 70 yards. Boy, at halftime to have 70 yards, that's a tremendous game. Ryan Bankus hasn't met with the same success. 2 carries for no yards. And Matt Lonsinski had him with 1 for 1 yard. He suffered a bad sack, but I attribute it to the team, the 14-yard loss on the bad snap. So when you take the positive yards of just 71, take away the 27, 44 yards on 16 plays for Berwick in its running game. Lonsinski, not strong in the air, just 1 of 6. 1 interception. It was kind of devastating. And just 2 yards on the 1 reception. Bo Sheptock had that catch. It was a short one. Caught it near the line of scrimmage. Got 2 yards on it. So 2 in the air, 44 net on the ground. Just 46 yards for Berwick here at halftime. Looking at Valley View, they have 108 on the ground, 19 in the air for 127 yards. We've been surprised to see the quarterbacking of Colin Skeen. We knew he ran Wildcat. We had good running numbers from that. He does in this game as well. But he had no passing numbers coming into the game. And yet in this game, he's sort of taken over at quarterback. Splitting a little bit of the time with Dominic Nemo, who was the quarterback after Hawana's got hurt halfway through the year. But between the 2 quarterbacks, they are 6 of 8 passing, no interceptions, but just 19 yards in the air. Berwick is allowed the short passing game. Sean McKinder, the leading receiver on this team, 3 catches, but just 11 yards. Connor Hilling has a catch, a 3-yard. Dante Randall, the big tight end, caught 2, but just 5 yards for all of that. So while there's 6 of 8 passing, there's no interceptions, good numbers there, just 19 yards in the air. But this team does it on the ground. 16 rushes, 108 yards. Connor Hilling was being held in check. In fact, his first 3 carries, just 5 yards. But then of late, as the half progressed in the second quarter, he bounced it up. He now has 6 carries, a 71-yard gain here at halftime, pretty much matching the 70 that we've seen by Berwick's Benny Noor. Colin Skeen, who's been the Wildcat quarterback, and he's been passing as well. But his specialty is the running game. He has a touchdown, 8 carries in all, 28 yards for him. Dante Randall, I have with 1 carry for 8 yards, a little push type of pass that was sideways, so a running play there. And then the quarterback, Dominic Nemo, the standard quarterback, 1 carry for 1 yard. 16 carries in all, 108 yards on the ground for the Valley View Cougars. 19 yards in the air, 127 total offense for the half compared to Berwick's 46. We mentioned this would be a bit of a running contest with the key running backs, who would limit who, and both running backs have, run pretty well. Connor Hilling for Valley View with 71 yards, Benny Noor with 70. So in that case, it's played out the way we've expected, but too many mistakes on the part of Berwick, Jim.
Yeah, I think you're right, Andy. I have no issue with Berwick's defense at all. I mean, there's a 132-yard burst by Hilling. Other than that, almost nothing. And twice Valley View threatened and had a chance on 4th down. Berwick was up to the task. They covered the one long pass that they threw. So it's that long punt return that set up the one score, the long interception that set up the other. And Berwick defensively has played well enough to not be in a 14-point hole here at the half.
Yeah, but they are. You have the mistakes with the punting game. You have other mistakes. And Valley View's taken chances. They tried to fake punt and came up without things happening. I thought they'd take some risks on bouncing punts, but they've turned them out in favor of themselves. Oh, it's an interesting first half, but, Berwick plays the better second half, limits the mistakes, gets itself back on track. They're still in it. They still have a good shot.
Well, you have to like the running of Benny Noor out of the Wildcat.
Yeah.
The read option really working well. It's been working effectively for the Bulldogs. Meanwhile, Spencer Kishwell's got to get some touches. He's too much of a weapon not to.
I agree. I certainly do agree, but your quarterback is 1 of 6 passing on the half. You got to find some way to get in his hands, even if just a little spit passes. He's 6'4". But credit the defense. They've been in position to make the stops on things underneath. I think they realize that's the way Berwick likes to play. And they're going to give a lot of attention to Spencer Kishwa as well.
It will be interesting to see the second half, what we get out of Colin Skeen for Valley View. He went off with an injury. He went into the locker room before the half ended. He's very, very vital to their success.
It almost seems like a playoff change, Jim, like it's a team that feels maybe it can make a run through into states, and it would be a little too much to expect the young quarterback to step up and do it. So Colin Skeen do it. He can run. We watched him warming up throwing. In fact, we asked did he throw any passes this year, and in the statistics that we get, he hasn't had any opportunities yet in this game. He's been throwing as well as running, and he looks very good. It was an odd injury, too. He ran an 8-yard sweep, tackled out of bounds, and with a 15-yard penalty, thrown out of bounds, kind of rough in toward the benches. But then the penalty is that the injury occurs when he's sort of run 20, 25 yards back onto the field, and then you see a player down flailing like, when did that happen? And you realize it was Skeen the runner. So, yeah, keep an eye on his health and see if he returns.
We are at halftime with Valley View leading Berwick by a score of 14-0. We'll be back. You're listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLN.
If you haven't been to name brand liquidations in the Berwick Plaza Shopping Center, you're missing out on great values. At name brand liquidations, you'll save money from 50 to 90% on everything imaginable. From furniture to food to bedding, you name it. Name brand liquidations not only sells a huge variety of merchandise, they feature name brands just like their name says, at low prices. When you're in the market for anything, shop at the store that has everything. Name brand liquidations. Wishing the Berwick Bulldogs a great season.
Mason's Monogramming has the largest selection of Bulldog items in Berwick. Family owned with more than 30 years experience and new Bulldog wear for every age, including masks, tees, polos, sweater shirts, jackets, and hats. They even have brand new indestructible silicone cups, koozies, car coasters, decals, and more. Shop at masonsmonogram.com for their new items and select in-person pickup or shipping right to you. Follow their Instagram at Mason's Monogram for their latest new items. Mason's Monogram service in Berwick. Let them personalize for you.
Berwick Bulldog football, HLM.
In high school football tonight, in District 2 4A semifinals, at halftime, North Pocono leads Dallas 27-14. In District 4 AAA semifinals, at halftime, Danville leads Loyalsock 21-7. At half, Milton and Montoursville are tied at 7. In District 4 4A final, at halftime, Jersey Shore leads Selinsgrove 27-0. In District 2 6A final, at halftime, Delaware Valley leads Hazleton Area 14-13. In District 4 and 6A sub-regional final, at halftime, State College leads Williamsport 14-0. And in District 2 AAA semifinal, still in the second quarter, Lakeland leads Wyoming Area 25-20. For HLM Sports, I'm Raven Klein.
Berwick Bulldog football, HLM.
Keep it on Andy electing from John Hensis War Memorial Stadium in Peckville. We're at halftime in this District 2 4A semifinal with Valley View leading Berwick by a score of 14-0. And I mentioned that I thought that Berwick's defense played very, very well in that opening half, but there's a lot of pressure on them in this second half. Valley View only gives up 10 points a game. You're down 14. You don't know how much Berwick is capable of scoring in the second half. You certainly can't give up any more points.
No, you can't. And, we mentioned about the effectiveness of Colin Skeen. I see that he is out there loosening up huddle of this team. Dominic Mimo is actually throwing the ball, so they might go with him more at quarterback. Skeen, a two-way player, often at receiver when not in that Wildcat, and also on defense. So it's the Valley View's benefit that he's up and around again. At the defense for Berwick is going to have to hold this team pretty much scoreless, and the offense is going to have to step it up and get some points. In fact, Berwick's had defensive impact plays throughout the season. We've seen Spencer Kishbaugh was 2 interception returns for touchdowns. We've seen Dre Will come through with big plays. We've seen big sacks by guys like Tajee Taylor. They might need to get the play on the defensive side to turn the field position and then turn it over to Benny Moore and the bunch to work with a shorter field.
When I was looking at Berwick's defensive stats this week, I was amazed at the number of sacks. 34 sacks coming into this game. And this is high school. Teams aren't throwing 30 times a game.
No.
So if you're getting 34 sacks, you're getting a good percentage of the times that the opposition drops back to throw.
Coach Sean Shepdock likes to get, when they're in that passing situation, he likes to roll the dice and go with blitzes. High school teams don't react nearly as well to pressure as college and pro teams can, where you can take advantage of a blitz and turn it around the other way. We've seen some teams where, maybe the screen's been called and that combats the blitz nicely, but it's sort of a roll of the dice whichever way it's happening. But they've been very effective, Berwick has, defensively, when they've needed sacks, whether it's from guys like Harrison Snyder and Hacker at defensive ends, or whether they're blitzing with Tajee Taylor and Spencer Kishbaugh, or just Now, letting those big tackles like an Andrew Blockus go straight in. They really have accrued the sacks over the course of the year.
Valley View will get the football to start the second half, and two dangerous return men, Connor Hilling and Colin Skeen, awaiting the second half kickoff. Brendan Hinkle, the senior for the Bulldogs, has it teed up. 14-0, Valley View in the lead. The winner advances to the district final to take on the winner of North Pocono and Dallas. North Pocono leading that semifinal 27-14 at the half.
Weather stayed very clear, bright moon out here.
Hinkle's kick to start the second half is high and fielded by Hilling at the 10-yard line. Takes it to the far side of the field, looking for room. He's hemmed in. Will be brought down about the 22. Nice coverage. Bo Sheptock leading the way with the tackle for the Bulldogs. There is a flag down at the Valley View 41-yard line.
You'd expect holding, Jim. Not much Berwick can do with that position. Sheptock really did play that well. Hilling was trying to go from left to right, trying to find the lane, and Berwick stayed in their lanes very, very well. We eventually got to Sheptock, who's near the end. He's not the last contained man, but he just stayed square and gave him nowhere to run.
And a personal foul against Berwick. Boy, they have just killed themselves with penalties.
You have a team penned in, you have great kick coverage, and some are going down at midfield. You manage to get a personal foul. Not good. Not good.
That brings the ball out to the 38-yard line, where Valley View will put it in play to start this second half.
Not a team that needs advantages.
1st and 10, Cougars. The call is to Hilling. Running over tacklers, gets out to the 46-yard line. He is a hard, determined runner, Connor Hilling.
Well, they gave him the seam. We mentioned how good this offensive line is, Jim, and there was no one in the defensive line or linebacker level could make a stop. Both safeties, Trey Wilk and Bo Sheptock, had to come up and try to stop him, but he has that great head of steam.
Second down and 2. From the 46-yard line, the call goes to Hilling again off the right side. Makes a shifty move, and another has the first down at the Berwick 46-yard line.
Nice running off the right. Again, they have that nice big line. It'll flex their muscles, get the push, get the blocks on Berwick. They've come out inspired here in the second half.
Ball at the Berwick 47-yard line. 7 yards on that carry by Connor Hilling. 1st and 10. Cougars. And again, that penalty huge on the second half kickoff, already in Berwick territory. Power eye to the right. Hilling goes in motion. Dominic Nemo is the quarterback. He gives to Randall, the fullback, and he is stuck right about the line of scrimmage. Trey Wilk coming from the secondary, involved in that play. Tajee Taylor there as well for the Bulldogs.
He realizes, Trey Wilk does, that he has to come up and play it like a linebacker. Dante Randall, 215 pounds, 6-footer. Rather muscular in his physique, running hard. Wilk able to make a play.
2 yards, 2nd and 8 at the Berwick 45. Nemo gives to Hilling off the left side, running hard, getting a push from behind. It's still going, and he gets to about the 40-yard line. Since they changed the rule and allow you to push from behind, one of the big decisions officials have to make is when to blow it dead.
Yeah, they let it go a little bit longer there. A nice push and a nice game by Hilling.
3rd down and 3. Valley View at the Berwick 41-yard line, closer to 4 yards needed for the first down. 3 blocking backs to the right. Snap. Goes to Skeen, trying to get outside right. Flags fly into play. Berwick defended it very well. Braden Boone, was out last week with the injury, had his arm in a sling. Made a nice play there.
Be holding against Valley View, Jim. You mentioned 3 blocking backs off to the right side, and they ran to the right side. Skeen able to follow that. Broached the chains. But a holding at the point of attack near the line of scrimmage will march it back.
Rick Boone will shake it up on the play. Benny Noor will replace him. Penalty will put the Cougars back at their 45-yard line. Bring up 3rd down and long. Been more holding calls in this game than I can remember any game this season. Here's a 3rd and 17. Valley View.
Receiver looked over the ball.
Colin Skeen on the quarterback draw has run over the Berwick territory. Gets to the 40 and comes up just a couple yards short of the first down. They needed 17. He almost got it.
Almost, Jim. Designed quarterback runs. He's known for his running. Saw that he can get through the first wave. They're lining up very quickly, but they have about 7 people on the field.
Well, Skeen was hurt, and he came off the sideline favoring his arm, so they're forced to use a timeout. We'll take one as well. 8:43 to go in the third. 14-0 Valley View. You're listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio, HLN.
Welch's Towing and Repair proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs and wishes them a successful year. Welch's Towing and Repair has a long tradition of helping. You can call Welch's 24/7 at 759-9737 if you are in need of a tow, jump start, tire change, are locked out, or to request them on scene if you're in an accident. Welch's accepts all major insurance and motor clubs, and they offer all types of preventive maintenance and day inspections for cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Welch's Towing and Repair, South Mercer Street in Berwick, and at their South Center Storage Facility, Columbia Boulevard in Berwick.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLN.
Berwick Bulldog Football, WHLN Bloomsburg, BWX Berwick, HLN.
Back to action, Valley View, 4th and 2. Hilling gets the call, bounces away from the tacklers. Looks like he might have the first down.
And on the spot, Jim, Alex Hacker came in hard. Tristan English came in hard. They're not moving to change yet. Where is the spot? I don't know. Valley View saying yes, and now the referee, John Loomis, also says yes.
Can Berwick request a look at the chains? I guess not, because they are given the first down. It was very, very close.
Yeah, and I thought it was a pretty fair spot, too.
Valley View at the Berwick 37-yard line. Dominic Nemo is the quarterback. He hands off to Hilling off the left side. Breaks free. Gets outside the 30. Turns the court to 25. Makes it cut to the 20. Still on his feet down to the 15-yard line. There is a flag down the play at the Berwick 26.
Sladinsky was claiming he's being held, and then in chasing and sort of pleading with the officials, ran out of bounds instead of finishing the play. I believe that's where the hold will occur, but it's a good ways into the run. He had 10, 12 yards before that flag comes out. And I don't think it's a question where you should be pleading your case. Make the tackle. If they don't throw that flag, it could be a touchdown.
It was close to one, but the hold will bring it back. See where they're going to spot the football at the Berwick 36-yard line. So it will be a 1st and 9 for the Cougars at the Berwick 36. 7:50 remaining in the third. Valley View 14, Berwick nothing.
Real good kick-out block by a pulling guard to give him the C-gap.
Under center is Mebo. Fakes a toss, keeps the football, blockers out in front, and cut down in the open field about the Berwick 33-yard line.
Skeen actually ended up with the ball. Jimmy might have been directly under center. The 3 and the 4 are sometimes hard to see. Very slow unpiling, and the referee's running in like there might have been some pushing and shoving. Is there an injured player?
There is a Berwick player who's not giving up.
Dean Carroll is the man who is down, sitting, looking at his shin.
So Skeen was the carrier. He'll pick up 3 on the play. And it will be 2nd down and 6 following this injury timeout. 7:12 remaining in the third. Winner of this game to face the winner of Dallas and North Pocono. Last score we had there was North Pocono winning at Dallas in a half, 27-14. Dallas the second seed, North Pocono the third, Valley View the first, and Berwick the fourth seed in this tournament. As they continue to look to Lear Carroll, he is sitting up.
And they're helping him up now, Jim. I'm looking at his left leg. He's limping off with that. Somewhere between the knee and the ankle seems where the injury was, where they were working him.
Tough player, Liam Carroll, two-way player. As Valley View will face a second down and 6 at the Berwick 33-yard line. Again, the pressure on this Berwick defense can't allow any more points. Valley View already leading 14-0 with 7:12 remaining here in the third.
Team that only allows 10 points a game throughout the entire 11-game season and playoffs that they've played. Tough to score on them.
On the 33, it is Nemo at the quarterback controls. Gives to Hilling off the right side. Has some running room. And gets to the 25-yard line. Has a Valley View first down.
And that is a 100-yard game. Been live with 190 yards now. Here with about 6:50 to go in the third quarter. Strong runner. Has good vision. Finds the seams. Takes advantage of an excellent offensive line.
So Valley View is the first team to go over 100 yards rushing against Berwick since week 5.
Connor Hilling himself with 109. Colin Skeena with 47 yards, Jim. So comfortably over 100, about 150.
First and 10, Valley View at the Berwick 26-yard line. 3 receivers to the left. Nemo hands off to Hilling and flags down the play. Illegal procedure against Valley View.
Fans not caring for it, but movement rather obvious. Will be signaled by John Loomis, the referee.
Valley View moving off the second half kickoff. Regardless if they score or not, they're using a lot of clock in this third quarter, and they lead 14-0.
Berwick needs the clock. Berwick's best chance of scoring their offensive workhorse is by running Benny Noor. It takes a while to drive down with that type of action. Not quick scores.
First and 15, Valley View at the Berwick 31. Nemo out of the gun. Hands the ball off to Hilling. Looks for running room. Has some at the 25 down to the 20-yard line. And Andy, that big offensive line that we've been talking about really starting to assert itself.
Yeah, it's getting noticeable. I think the challenge was put to them at halftime, Jim. They've come out with an upgrade in their enthusiasm level, getting bigger seams for the running back.
11 yards there for Connor Hilling. Second down and 4. Valley View at the Berwick 20-yard line. 3 receivers to the left, but they don't throw a lot. That's window dressing. Nemo waits the shotgun snap. Gives to Hilling again. Hit behind the line, and he will not get to the line of scrimmage. Terrific play, Bruce Hartman.
Yes, it was. He got penetration from his down defensive tackle position on the right. Saw the play going from left to right, met it in the backfield, and made a great tackle.
Loss of 2 on the play. Third down and 6 for Valley View at the Berwick 22-yard line. Connor Skeen enters the backfield now on this 3rd and 6 call. Skeen will await the shotgun snap. Hilling is to his left. McIntyre in motion to the left. Skeen fakes handoff, keeps the football, tries to get outside left, gets by one man, will not get by the next. He's brought down the 24-yard line.
Slavinsky on the outside. Contain was broken. They got around Harrison Snyder. Normally that's hard to do, but they got enough of a block on him to get wide. Rowan Slavinsky coming up hard from corner limits that.
And now on a 4th and 8, 5 or 6 subs coming on after the 2-yard gain.
They're not thinking field goal, are they?
Why wouldn't you? You got a great kicker in that hole. He's kicked quite a few of them on the season. This one from 41 yards out. Snap is a good one. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. No good. On target, but came up a couple of yards short. So Berwick will take over the football with 3:29 to go in the third.
He was 5 of 6 on the season, Jim, so now make him 5 of 7. I thought it was a little long for a high schooler, but they know what he can do. They see him in practice every day. I don't think the colder conditions and the dampness is conducive for long field goal attempts, but that came just under the crossbar. A nice, strong leg.
But when you're leading 14-0 as Valley View is, that's a very successful drive. Because there's just 3:29 to go in the third quarter. Berwick's getting the football for the first time at their own 20-yard line.
Bonzinski will be quarterbacking with Benny Moore to his left.
3 receivers to the left. Bonzinski back to throw. Fires over the middle. Has his man Spencer Kishwell at the 30. Turn to court at the 35 and ring out of bounds. Berwick's first play from their offense in the second half is a big gain for Spencer Kishwell.
H-back on the right side of the formation, crossed in front of the linebackers, caught it coming off the left side, and then turns it up the sideline with a very nice run. So they listen to you at halftime, Jim. You got to get that guy more touches.
23 yards on the reception. 1st and 10, Berwick at their own 43-yard line. Slot to the right, wide receiver left. Bonzinski gives it to Noor off the right side, has some running room, and gets out to the 49-yard line.
Sweeping type of action. Turned it north-south once he got outside of the tight end. Getting nice blocking out there, making a good 5-yard gain.
At the 48-yard line, 2nd down and 5. Berwick trying to get on the board for the first time. They trail 14-0, under 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Middle of the field, 2 yards shy of the 50-yard line.
Rose Slavinsky wide to the right side, slot to the left. Noor to the right of Matt Bonzinski, who waits the shotgun snap. Bo Sheptak comes in motion, fake to him, fires a pass way over the head of Trey Wilk, who had a step at the 40-yard line.
Running a slant, wide receiver on the left side, may have taken 2 steps forward and then slanting in toward the middle, but high and a little bit behind him as well. Set up the third and about 5.
Bonzinski to the sideline for the play call. Maybe 4-down territory for Berwick.
I was just thinking that, Jim, in which case a running play isn't out of order here.
Bonzinski hands the ball to Noor, sweeps the right side, looking for room. He's close to the first down yardage, but he's short. He is in Valley View territory. I wouldn't be surprised to see Berwick go for it here because Valley View used up almost that whole third quarter with their offense.
The fact that they ran the ball tipped you off a little bit too, Jim. They got about half the 5 yards that they needed. Well, they'll need a good
1 yard to go for the first down.
Yeah.
4th and 1.
Just can't see that old-fashioned down marker.
They got 4 yards on that carry. They need 1 more for the first.
Wildcat.
4th down from the 48-yard line. Sheptak comes in motion. Fake to him. Noor up the middle has the first down. Benny Noor with good second effort.
It was Benny Noor in the Wildcat. Fake to both Sheptak going to the right. So similar to the action that's been earning him yardage. Similar to the zone read. Put it in the back, coming in motion, pull it out, and then take it on the inside. He won a collision, was able to bounce off of that to get to the chains.
Berwick at the Valley View 46-yard line with a first down, 1:25 to go in the third. Noor waits the shotgun snap, fakes handoff to Sheptak, and Benny Noor is roughed up right at the line of scrimmage.
They're telegraphing a little bit now. They know they want to run Benny Noor. Both Kishpa and Tajee Taylor, the big H-back, stacked on the right. They're kind of seeing where are they blocking, so they anticipate where the play is going to be run.
You hear the fan reaction. Valley View thought they had recovered a fumble on the play. There was no indication from the officiating crew. There was a loss of a yard to the 47 of Valley View. 2nd down and 11.
Need to vary that offense a little bit now. Lonzinski back in.
He is back to throw. Looking, rolling right. Looking long downfield, has a man. Spencer Kishmore goes through his hands at the 2-yard line.
He pushed off a little bit at the end, Jim.
There is a flag down near the play you're describing.
Yeah, I think it would be offensive pass interference. He pushed off a little bit, gained his freedom, but then in locating the ball, he lost things and couldn't make a catch. Either way, a no-go.
That is a huge penalty against the Bulldogs.
It hurts, but you got to regroup. Got to make something happen. You got the big first down play. You continue to drive. You got to get some way to get back into this game.
Pretty good throw by Matt Lonzinski.
He has a big, strong arm. He sometimes looks a little indecisive, Jim, like he's looking, he wants to throw, no, I changed my mind, rolls to get a little bit, and then he unleashed it deep downfield, nice spiral. But coverage there forces the pass interference on Kishbaugh, or by Kishbaugh.
2nd and 26 now for Berwick following the penalty back at their own 38-yard line. Just 30 seconds remaining in this third quarter.
Not the worst time for a screen pass, but Valley View is one of those well-schooled teams that will be looking for such plays.
2nd down and long Bulldogs. Back at their 33. Again, Valley View used up much of this third quarter with that drive off the second half kickoff. Lonzinski out of the gun. 3 receivers to the left. Has the snap, and he's back to throw. Has time. Fires the far side. Incomplete. Intended for Bo Sheptock. Boy, that's a terrific defensive play.
He jeweled, Jim. He's 6'3". He stayed with Sheptock very well. Broke on the ball. Almost the interception right there on the sideline.
It was, I thought, thrown very, very well.
Thrown hard. But boy, the coverage was there tight.
3rd and 26. Not a lot of good plays in the playbook for this situation. Berwick at their own 33.
Valley View showing a 3-man rush.
Lonzinski back to throw. Looking. Now he's in trouble. He'll be sacked back at the 30. The ball is loose. Berwick appears to be on the football.
They are, but it was the rush that mattered, Jim. Dante Randall mentioned him throughout, tight end and defensive end, coming hard from the left. When it wasn't 1, 2, 3, get the pass off, when Lonzinski had to be, a little bit more deliberate, pulled it down, he wasn't going to escape from Dante Randall. There's the quarter.
3 in the books. Valley View 14. Berwick nothing. You're listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio, HLN.
Sports injury got you down? No one knows sports medicine like Lehigh Valley Health Network and Coordinated Health. Their unrivaled sports team has the highest orthopedic success rates in the region. With more than 30 years experience, they put athletes first and provide same-day appointments. Don't let a sports injury slow you down. Learn more at lvhn.org/sports medicine or call 888-402-LVHN.
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLN.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLN.
Berwick Bulldog Football, WHLN Lewisburg, WX Berwick, HLN.
14-0 Valley View after 3 quarters. Berwick had something going. They had the ball at the Valley View 46-yard line. But a penalty, a sack, and now Berwick to start this fourth quarter punting back at their own 30-yard line.
Struggled a little bit. One bad snap in the course of the game.
Denny Orr back at the Berwick 18-yard line. Snap is a good one. Kick is away, and a beautiful kick. Very, very high, and it gets by. Ski, did he touch it? I guess he didn't. And Berwick counts at about the 12-yard line.
Going to get a roughing the kicker penalty, Jim. That was the roar of the crowd. I looked back, and the flag was hidden from me. I didn't watch the action. You can hear the fan reaction.
No, it's against Berwick.
Oh, so maybe the fans saw something.
A chop block against Berwick. So negate a great punt by Benny Moore.
Just don't see how that can happen where there is a chop block unless the last blocker went down a little too low.
Well, we mentioned in Berwick's last 2 games, winning games, but lots of penalties.
Yeah.
We pointed out that if it happens again tonight, it's not going to be a good situation, and it has not been.
No, and it's a shame to take away that long, long punt with the bounce. I thought for a chance, I thought that the fan reaction was they didn't like a roughing the kicker call. But chop block near the puncher is what's being marked off.
And now Valley View figures to get great field position early here in the 4th as Benny Moore back at his goal line to do the punting. Short, very, very high. And will be down about the Berwick 37-yard line. So Valley View in great position to add to what is a 14-0 lead. We're just underway here in the final period.
Yes, we are. Valley View is looking stronger and stronger as this game does go. Berwick is struggling, hurting themselves throughout this game.
Cougars move from our right to our left in this 4th quarter. Dominic Nemo, the sophomore, is the quarterback. Gives to Connor Hilling. Hilling is dragged down from behind. Bruce Hartman making the play. Little or no gain.
Yeah, Hartman got nice penetration from his defensive tackle position. Shifted over to his right. Was able to meet the man in the backfield. He'll bring him down right there at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10. Valley View at the Berwick 37-yard line. Christopher Suckoff is wide to the left. I formation. Hilling is the tailback. He gets the call off the left side and gets to about the Berwick 33-yard line. Flag down on the play.
In the scrum, you can see movement. Did someone get a face mask? Flag went into the pile as the tackle's being finished. And this time they looked to be facing against. I thought they were facing the marking off against Valley View, but then I thought the referee pointed the other way.
Yeah.
And it will be marked against Berwick.
So another huge mistake by the Bulldogs. This one not huge. It's 5 yards.
One of those minor face masking penalties being called.
2nd and 1. Valley View at the Berwick 28-yard line. Randall, the fullback, breaks free. Up the middle, gets inside the 15-yard line. You know, you don't use him very much, but when they do, he is effective.
He most certainly is. Averages 8 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns on the season. Big guy in there, great defensively, great blocker when they go with him. Boy, let him run. He's excited about it.
On the 15-yard line of Berwick. Dominic Nemo is the quarterback. I formation. Randall ahead of Hilling. Hilling gets the call. Randall with a good block. Hilling still on his feet inside the 10-yard line.
Being untouched till the safeties get to him, Jim. This offensive line is creating great seams. The front 4, the linebackers are being blocked. Great technique by the offensive line. Eventually the safeties have to try to come up and fill, and it's just tough to win collisions when that guy has about a 10-yard running start until you meet him.
2nd down and 2 at the Berwick 7-yard line with 9:19 to play.
Valley View deliberate in the huddle. I formation.
Hilling the tailback in the eye. gets the call off the right side, slashes down to the 2-yard line. First and goal, Valley View.
They're strong. Again, you can see it in the offensive line. They're exploding into their blocking assignments. They're moving people out of the way, shielding the lane for the runner, who's able to slash on through, as you mentioned, Jim.
First and goal, Cougars. Colin Skeen comes into the offensive huddle, and he is under center. And takes the snap and goes straight ahead and gets to about the 1-yard line.
I don't know if you noticed the other adjustment, Jim.
I did see the big boy.
The big boy did come on in. That's number 62, Louis Marion. He's 310 pounds. They put him in the backfield right behind the left guard. And on the snap, the quarterback stepped back. Louis Moran ran on up very, very hard and gave a big push. Not enough for the touchdown, but good strategy.
Again, power eye to the right. Nemo hands to Hilling. Hilling off the left side into the end zone for the touchdown. Connor Hilling from 1 yard out.
Blocking is just too strong, Jim. They didn't need all the power eye backs. In fact, they ran away from it. They're able to just use their left tackle on out there. Getting a lot out of Ja'Kai Simmons, 270-pounder, 250-pounder. Coming out hard, making the play. The wide men for Berwick not able to get down there quick enough on the quick hitter.
Cole will set the extra point. Snap, placement, kick is up, and the kick is good. Time on the field. 7:50 remaining in the game. Valley View, 21. Berwick, nothing. You're listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio, HLN.
Ridge Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates. Why go anywhere else? But Ridge Roofing will get the job done right. For your roofing, decks, and siding. Specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Ridge Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Dushore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties. With owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLN.
Berwick Bulldog football. HLN Bloomsburg, WX Berwick. HLN.
Six-play, 37-yard drive, capped on a 2-yard touchdown run by Connor Hilling. Valley View with a commanding 21-0 lead now, 7:50 remaining in the game. Matt Cole, 3 for 3 in extra points, will kick it off for the Cougars. His kick, line drive kick, fielded at the 10-yard line. And Ryan Backus is brought down hard about the 23-yard line where Berwick will put it in play. Bulldogs haven't had the football a lot into the second half. Valley View has played keep away. Again, we talked about how important those penalties are against Berwick. Nora gotten off a great kick with a good roll, was going to put Valley View back at their own 12-yard line. Instead, the penalty against Berwick, he has to kick from his goal line. Valley View takes it over at the 37, puts together a 6-play scoring drive, and may have put this one out of reach with 7:44 to go.
May have. Berwick should have benefited, I thought, by a penalty. Bankus was pulled down by his helmet. It should have been a 15-yard penalty, but apparently the officials didn't quite have their eyes on it.
Linsinski out of the gun. Berwick moving from our left to our right. Back to throw. Big pass rush. He's in trouble. He'll keep the football and get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Jordan Rebar, senior, 180-pounder, came in from his left defensive end. Linsinski saw it. Had to scramble on out of there, but couldn't escape from Rebar.
Second down for the Bulldogs. They mark it at the 24, so give me a yard on the carry. Second down and 9.
Escape the sack. They need positive plays. Linsinski not really getting enough time to pass, not the time that he wants.
Spencer Kishball wide to the right. Dre Wilk in a slot to the right. Bonzinski awaits the shotgun snap, and he has it. He's back to throw, and here comes the big pass rush, and he will get out to about the 26-yard line, but that's all. He avoids the sack, but got just a couple on the play. Third down coming.
Dylan Walsh that time able to wrap him up. He's just not comfortable in the pocket, Jim. By the time he gets himself set, he's feeling the pressure already and looking for ways to escape.
And Valley View tee it off now.
Yeah.
They recognize the situation. And the situation is desperate for Berwick with 6:20 remaining in the game. Third down and 8. Bulldogs from their 25. Slot to the left, slot to the right. Bonzinski has the shotgun step, back to throw, looking long down the far side, has a man just beyond his reach at the 37-yard line. Thrown pretty well by Matt Bonzinski. Braden Boone, the intended receiver, just beyond his reach. Fourth down, punt team on.
Yeah, 5-step drop and then throwing it that deep and on target. The diving Braden Boone unable to get his hands to it.
Colin Skeen. Sean McIntyre deep for the Cougars. Benny Dorr standing back at the Berwick 10-yard line to do the punting. Ethan Lear does the long snapping for the Bulldogs. Perfect snap. Kick is away. Kick will be a fair caught by McIntyre. And Valley View will take over at their own 47-yard line with under 6 to play, and the Cougars lead this one 21-0.
They've been strong, Jim. They've come as advertised. A running team. I have Connor Hilly with 135 yards. I have Colin Skeen, running quarterback, with 47. Dante Randall, just 3 carries, but 18 yards for him. Strong offensive line, creating the lanes, leading to success for Valley View.
Cougars from their 47-yard line, I formation. Hilly is the tailback in the I. Toss to him. Tries the right side. Nothing there. And Berwick swarms him at the 44-yard line.
Good positional play. The chain was there by Berwick at the defensive end position when he tried to cut back or turn it north-south sooner. Berwick had people in the lanes. Good team defense.
Clock running, 5.5 minutes to go. That's what remains on the Berwick season. Bulldogs trailing it 21-0. I formation. Long count. Nemo tosses to Hilly, who lost the handle and then falls on the football back at the 41-yard line. Loss of 3, third and long, Cougars.
And don't expect anything too risky here. I think you run a very conservative play. May not even throw the pass.
Hilling will not be in there for this third and long. He comes out of there.
Yeah, but if Colin Skeen's at quarterback, Jim, we've seen him make things happen. Quarterback draws, other actions. See which way they choose to play it.
Third down and long. 4.5 minutes remaining.
Randall.
Handoff. Dante Randall, the fullback, will get out to the 44-yard line.
His 4th carry of the game. Berwick seeing that only one man in the backfield. He saw the exchange rather easily rallying to the football.
There was a penalty against the Cougars, but that one is declined. And the punt team on for Valley View.
Have they punted in this game, Jim?
This is their second. Corey Bushna will punt it away. Benny Noor, Dre Wilk, deep. Bushna's kick angles to the sideline. He goes out of bounds. So Berwick will have it for perhaps the last time in the season. 3:56 remaining. Bulldogs trail this one by a score of 21-0.
Interesting watching Bush to kick that, Jim. He got it and turned the ball sideways and punted it. Not your textbook version of punting, but got it away. Bulldogs finishing over on the sideline, as they always do, huddling with the coaching staff, and they'll come right to the ball.
Bulldogs tried to avert a shutout. 3:56 remaining, full allotment of timeouts remaining. They have it at their own 37-yard line. Benny Noor gets the carry off the left side. Nothing there. Good second effort. Gets him a yard out to the 38. That's pure Benny Noor.
A.J. Koharski got him and spun him and just spun him in the other direction. But there were three Valley View players waiting for him over there. But strong effort by Benny Noor, as you mentioned, Jim.
Second down and 9. Berwick, 3.5 minutes remaining.
I have Benny Noor with 80 yards on the game.
Stay with us after the game. Raven Klein will bring us updated on all the playoff scores from tonight. Winsinski back to throw. Fires out to Benny Noor. Makes his first catch. Takes a big hit as he gets out to about the 43-yard line. Benny Noor shaking up on the play.
Yes, he is, Jim, and the fans really like the hit that put him down.
There's a flag down. This is probably going to come against Berwick. Something said to the officials.
What happened is the hit was kind of raucous. The fans reacted to it. I don't think you react to a hit that's potentially dangerous. But Berwick then kind of rallied toward Benny Noor, and they're going to tend to him on the sideline.
3:03 remaining. We'll take a timeout as well. You're listening to Berwick Football on Sports Radio HLM.
Northeast Pennsylvania is your home, and no matter what stage of life you find yourself in, what you rely on most is security. When that house becomes a home, the moment you get that new car, when your dreams become a reality, it's times like this when you have to look to the experts for advice and financial peace of mind. They're there with innovative products and services to help you with your financial future every step of the way. Together, they will help dreams and goals become reality. They are more than a bank. They're your neighbor. They are First Keystone Community Bank. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog football. HLM Bloomsburg and BWX Berwick. HLM.
Injury timeout continuing down the field on the Valley View sideline with 3:03 remaining in the game. Game out of reach at the moment. Valley View leading Berwick 21-0, but more concerned is the injury to Benny Noor. They're tending to him at the 43-yard line. He caught a pass and then was hit by three different defenders.
Moving around, moving his hands, they moved his leg. But boy, when he caught the ball and was kind of elongated. One man had him, another man came in with a very hard hit into the side. And then he was sprawled out. The leg was awkwardly laid. Now that's stretched back on in. So it's hard to anticipate what the injury would be. But, the biggest worry is when they're not moving at all or if they're unconscious, and I don't think that happens to be the case. It's a shame. What a season for Benny Noor. To have to end it like this, it's a pain. The emotional pain of losing in a playoff game is bad enough. A guy who gives his heart and soul on every play. Looks like they're going to try to get him up at this point.
Carmen DiFrancesco has come all the way over from the Berwick sideline.
Been over there from the get-go, Jim. Yeah. I thought they were getting them up, but not quite yet.
There was a penalty against Berwick on the play where we lost count of the number of yards that the Bulldogs have had in penalties.
It's a bugaboo. You just try to teach the composure as a coaching staff. You talk about it, you preach it. You might run people for nonsense penalties. 100-yard sprints for every yard you've given up in a penalty. Sometimes try to teach the lesson, but doesn't always sink in the heat of battle. This, I think, was one where people are coming over to defend, one of their star runners. Still down, looking at Benny Norm, still down.
3:03 to go. We'll take one more break here. 21-0 is the Valley View lead. You're listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLN.
The Berwick Medicine Shop at their new location, 500 Fowler Avenue in Berwick, has your favorite pharmacist team, like Kim, that you've trusted for more than 20 years, and they've gotten even better. Free blister packs, free home delivery with no tips, free COVID testing and rapid testing, and less than a 15-minute average wait time on prescriptions. Why would you go to the big box pharmacies where you might wait for days? Go to the name you know and trust, the Berwick Medicine Shop, and follow their Facebook page. Berwick Medicine Shop proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs.
S.J. Kowalski Heating and Air Conditioning sells comfort. Since 1972, S.J. Kowalski understands the importance of doing business locally. They service what they sell and take pride in customer satisfaction. S.J. Kowalski is a trained comfort specialist, a Lennox dealer, and they are Northeastern Pennsylvania's premier dealer of Mitsubishi Douglas mini split systems. S.J. Kowalski also sells and installs energy-efficient Renai water heaters and geothermal systems. Call 1-888-KOWALSKI and ask about special promotions and zero-interest financing.
Riverview Block of Berwick, with over 75 years of service, can handle all your block and concrete needs. They carry all sizes of concrete block, including decorative E.P. Henry landscaping block. Their concrete is PennDOT approved and delivered with front discharge trucks. Riverview Block also carries masonry supplies, tools, cement, sand, and stone. For prompt delivery, call Riverview Block, 570-752-7191. Riverview Block is proud to support the Berwick Bulldogs.
Sports injury got you down? No one knows sports medicine like Lehigh Valley Health Network and Coordinated Health. Their unrivaled sports team has the highest orthopedic success rates in the region. With more than 30 years experience, they put athletes first and provide same-day appointments. Don't let a sports injury slow you down. Learn more at lvhn.org/sports medicine or call 888-402-LVHN.
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLN.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLN.
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLN Bloomsburg, PWX Berwick, HLN.
They are bringing the ambulance on to this side of the field. Again, they hope it's just a precautionary member, as Benny Orr is the injured player for Berwick. Came with 3:03 remaining in the game. Obviously, both teams showing their concern right now.
They brought the ambulance all the way around the field without going onto the main part of the playing surface. And then you had to miss the pylons, move a kicking net, beat cheerleaders out of the way. The stretcher that they'll use is coming out of the ambulance right now, and it's right aside of Benny Orr here on the near sideline. Berwick players now all coming on over. Show of support for their teammate.
This is a very small senior class. Benny Orr, one of only 8 Berwick players playing their final game now with just 3:03 to go, and the score being what it is. Benny Orr, Taji Taylor, Brendan Hinkle, Braden Boone, Nick Pajovich, Andrew Blockus, Xander Unger, Gavin Cunningham. Those are the seniors on this Berwick team, but the concern now with just one of those seniors, Benny Orr. Valley View players kneeling down below us to a right. Berwick players kneeling as close as they are allowed to come to their prone teammate.
They have the stretcher out. They have it in almost a reclined but upright position, like you can almost sit. But they brought a backboard out of the side of the ambulance. I'll probably, again, for the precaution, put him on the backboard first and probably set that stretcher down and wheel it on into the ambulance.
And moving the Berwick players now so they have room to get the stretcher around. Again, 3:03 remaining in the game. The concern now with Berwick senior Benny Knorr. And we'll give you an update when we return. You're listening to Berwick Football on Sports Radio HLM.
It won't be long before tax time rolls around, so remember to visit Michael Daddio CPA at ND Accounting and Consulting for your income tax needs. ND Accounting and Consulting handles both business and individual taxes, as well as offering a variety of accounting services, including payroll, auditing, and bookkeeping. For tax and accounting services, look for Michael Daddio CPA at ND Accounting and Consulting with 2 locations, 214 Pine Street in Berwick and 5929 Main Road in Sweet Valley.
Welch's Towing and Repair proudly supports the Berwick Bulldogs and wishes them a successful year. Welch's Towing and Repair has a long tradition of helping. You can call Welch's 24/7 at 759-9737 if you are in need of a tow, jumpstart, tire change, or lockdowns, or to request them on scene if you're in an accident. Welch's accepts all major insurance and motor clubs, and they offer all types of preventative maintenance and state inspections for cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Welch's Towing and Repair, South Mercer Street in Berwick, and at their South Center Storage Facility, Columbia Boulevard in Berwick. Yannick Real Estate is your full-service real estate agency. Buying, selling, residential, commercial, multifamily, land, and rental management. Call Yannick Real Estate. Owner Mike Yannick, a veteran himself, served his country and has been serving this area for decades. Mike and his staff will guide you through the real estate process. Veterans, be sure to check the VA loan options. Yannick Real Estate, your full-service real estate agency. 1232 West Front Street in Berwick. Call 759-3300.
Mason's Monogramming has the largest selection of Bulldog items in Berwick. Family owned with more than 30 years experience and new Bulldog wear for every age, including masks, tees, polos, sweater shirts, jackets, and hats. They even have brand new indestructible silicone cups, koozies, car coasters, decals, and more. Shop at masonsmonogram.com for their new items and select in-person pickup or shipping right to you. Follow their Instagram at Mason's Monogram for their latest new items. Mason's Monogram service in Berwick. Let them personalize for you.
This is Berwick football coach Carm DiFrancesco. You are listening to Bulldogs football on Sports Radio HLM.
Berwick Bulldog football. WHLM Bloomsburg. WBWX Berwick. HLM.
Moments ago, as they lifted the injured Benny Knorr into the ambulance, he raised his right arm, which is a great sign. Get a great round of applause for the Valley View faithful on this side, of course, from his teammates on the field. 3:03 to go. And I don't know what the protocol is in a situation like this, but it almost seems like a time to end the game and not play the final 3:03. I mean, it's just emotionally, it's got to be really, really tough for Berwick. I don't know how Valley View feels about it. The game is certainly not in any kind of, it's over. It's 21-0 Valley View. I don't know. The officials are huddling now. We'll see what they come up with.
They could talk to both coaches and say, coaches, do you want to continue? And I don't see why either would feel a need to. But Berwick does have its offense kind of huddled on the hash. 17 or so other players over there. I thought it was very touching, Jim, as they're putting Benny Knorr on the stretcher, and, of course, the raised hand could bring tears to your eyes that, there was movement. I had seen movement of his hand and movement of his feet a little bit as we were watching. They kept his helmet on. They really wrapped him nicely in blankets that kept him safely on the backboard. We're still waiting for the ambulance to leave, but I like the way that teammates, I think, realized, hey, this is bad, but it's not, paralysis or anything like that where you really get scared. And you saw players come over, and I'm looking at the numbers of, best friends and close friends and teammates, and kind of tapping them on the shoulder. Tapping them on the shoulder. You'll be all right. You'll come out of this. Things will be okay. The full Berwick team now gathering toward the hash. The ball is spotted there. Of course, it's not spotted where the tackle was made because the ambulance and the injury occurred there. They're being very deliberate. Valley View is still huddled near the ambulance as a full team off the sideline, but toward the hash, out of the way so the ambulance can move. Berwick coming toward their hash mark on that side, and I would agree with you, Jim. There's no sense in finishing this at this point. The referee should get that ball after talking to the coaches, throw it up in the air, and, you know, all it is nonsense statistics at this point, and it just seems there's a finality right now. We should end it.
Yeah, and I always wonder about the emotions of players trying to complete a game like this under these circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
But we wish the best for Benny Nor. He is in the ambulance down below us. And as soon as that clears out, we'll know whether they're going to play this final 3-0-3 or not.
Don't understand the hold-up. I guess you have to be sure that you're strapped on in and locked on in. They finally closed the passenger side door, and the ambulance now is starting to move down the sideline of the Valley View side, and they'll take him around the end zone and on out and get another round of applause from the fans in support of the player.
The ball is back at the 28-yard line of Berwick. The Bulldogs will have possession of the footballs. Teams, you know, there is the emotional aspect to this. There's also the physical.
You've been sitting 15, 20 minutes getting cold. You're not stretched. You can pull muscles now. No, I think they're going to, you know, finish it out, but wouldn't be my decision.
So 3:03 remains in the game. Valley View is on their way to the district final. They lead Berwick by a score of 21-0. Bulldogs have a 3rd down and 19 at their own 28-yard line. Sean Sheptock. Bo Sheptock in that lineup is Matt Lutsinski. Waits the shotgun snap. He's back to throw. And he fires a quick out, and he has a man. And a completion out to the 40-yard line. So they pick up about 8 yards on the play.
Slowly unpiling there as people are tangled up. Oh, Sheptock, I believe, was the man who did make the catch, and they're helping him up out of the pile.
Clock continues to run, 2:24 to go. It was Bo Sheptock that caught the pass. Completion out to the 40. Pickup of about 12 on the play. 4th down and 7 for Berwick at the 40 after the 12-yard completion. They'll go for it. Bo Sheptock in a slot to the right. Trey Wilk outside of him. Lutsinski back to throw. He'll be sacked back at the 35-yard line. Valley View will take over the football. Chance to take a couple knees and put this one officially in the book. This is a very good Valley View team. Their only loss was a 7-point loss on the regular season finale to a very good spread prep team. So they will go to 11-1 with this win. And they earned it. Very good all-around football team.
Yeah, quite impressive, Jim. Good running game. I like the design. I like the change-up with a Wildcat quarterback. And you're right, they're in the victory formation. They'll take knees now and end this.
And boy, could you imagine this team, as good as it is, with Adam Hawanis,
oh, boy,
their outstanding quarterback who's out for the season with the ACL injury incurred midway through the season. In fact, he just had his surgery done today, but he had numbers through the first 6 weeks of the season that looked like totals for a full season, both passing and running. But even without him, they continue to march on. And we just heard a big score with North Pocono leading Dallas about to put that one away. So it looks like it's going to be a North Pocono and Valley View final. And for the Bulldogs, well, they'll look back at this season, think about the comeback they made after that 1-3 start, winning 6 of their last 7 games to get into this semifinal, but coming up short here to Valley View as the Cougars now look at that clock and realize they don't have to take another snap, or do they? Officials now signal them off the field, and that will do it. Teams will be at the center of the field. A lot of handshakes going on now. The final score, Valley View 21, Berwick nothing. We'll be back with the scoring and stats. You're listening to Bulldogs Football on Sports Radio HLN.
If you haven't been to name brand liquidations in the Berwick Plaza Shopping Center, you're missing out on great values. At name brand liquidations, you'll save money from 50 to 90% on everything imaginable. From furniture to food to bedding, you name it. Name brand liquidations not only sells a huge variety of merchandise, they feature name brands just like their name says, at low prices. When you're in the market for anything, shop at the store that has everything. Name brand liquidations. Wishing the Berwick Bulldogs a great season.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick, the roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates, why go anywhere else when Red's Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding, specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas, now located in New Shore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties with owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
Bulldog Football, HLN.
In high school football tonight, in District 2 4A semifinals, in the fourth quarter, North Pocono leads Dallas 34-20. In District 4 AAA semifinals, in the fourth, Danville leads Loyalsock 35-14. A final, Montoursville wins over Milton 17-14. In District 4 4A final, in the fourth quarter, Jersey Shore leads over Selinsgrove 41-0. In District 2 6A final, in the fourth quarter, Delaware Valley leads Hazleton Area 35-20. In District 4 and 6A sub-regional final, in the fourth quarter, State College leads over Williamsport 17-14. And in the fourth quarter of a District 2 AAA semifinal, Lakeland leads Wyoming Area 32-28. We had a quick one here. Now back to Jim Doyle and Andy Lipney. This has been Raven Klein for HLM Sports.
Berwick Bulldog Football, HLM.
Has come to an end for the Bulldogs of Berwick. A 21-0 loss to Valley View here tonight in the District 2 4A semifinal. There was no scoring in the first quarter. Berwick's defense came up big after Valley View took over at the Bulldog 29-yard line after a bad snap on a punt. But the Bulldogs held. They also held in the second quarter when Valley View drove to the Berwick 40. They were stopped on a 4th and 3. However, the Cougars got 2 big plays to get on the board in that second quarter. A 40-yard punt return by Colin Skeen to the Berwick 42-yard line. 2 plays later, they were in the end zone. Both runs by Connor Hillen, one of 10 yards, and the touchdown run of 32 yards. Matt Cole kicked the extra point. 4:59 to go in the first half. Valley View took a 7-0 lead. And then one of the biggest plays of the first half. Berwick's Matt Latinsky back to pass. His pass picked off by Sean McIntyre, returned to the 8-yard line. From there, Colin Skeen took it in for the score. Matt Cole kicked the extra point. Valley View went in at halftime leading 14-0. And the Cougars just about put it away in the third quarter on their first possession, even though they didn't score. There was just 3:29 remaining in that quarter when they gave the ball up after a 41-yard field goal came up short. So they led 14-0 after 3 in the fourth quarter. They put one more on the board, a 6-play, 37-yard drive, capped on a 2-yard run by Connor Hilling. Matt Cole with the extra point. Valley View wins this one by a score of 21-0. Stats in tonight's game, Andy Lickney.
Surprised the stat sheets held up, Jim. They're that damp that the pens didn't go through them. Berwick with just 95 yards on the game. Valley View with 220. Berwick split is 53 on the ground, net 42 in the air. 4 of 12 passing, 1 interception, 42 yards. Benny Norr caught a 5-yarder. Spencer Kishbach caught one and ran it for 23. Bo Shepduck had the other 2 catches, a total of 14 yards there, 42 in the air. The 53 on the ground sort of belies Benny Norr's effectiveness. 15 carries for 80 yards by my count. The team, though, lost 27 yards net on bad snaps and problems with the punting game. And Matt Lonzinski at quarterback under pressure throughout the night. 4 carries, no yards net. 53 on the ground for Berwick, 42 in the air, a total of 95. For Valley View, they amassed 220. 201 of the 220 on the ground, 19 in the air. No second half passes, the same as we saw at halftime. 6 of 8 passing for 19 yards for the combined quarterbacks, as we saw Colin Steen and Wildcat and Dominic Nemo, the sophomore, combined. Sean McKinder, 3 catches for 11 yards. Connor Hilling caught 1 for 3. Dante Randall, 2 catches for 5 yards in all. It's the running game, though, where this team really shines. Connor Hilling, he's averaged about 100 yards a game on the season. He'll add to his 1,060-yard total with 131 yards by my count on 19 carries. Colin Steen put in as a Wildcat quarterback and might have played 60% of the snaps at quarterback for his team. He amassed 47 yards on 13 carries. Give the fullback Dante Randall 4 carries for 22, and Dominic Amimo at quarterback, 1 quarterback and 1 carry for a yard, and a kneel downs at the end. 201 on the ground, 19 in the air, 220 for Valley View. Their season will continue, and Berwick's will come to an end.
Bulldogs just couldn't get it going in offense tonight, and Valley View had their way and wins. They'll advance into the district final to take on North Pocono. And Andy, I said this to Carmen DiFrancesco on their pregame show. I said, I have a confession to make. When you were 1-3, I didn't see you make it to the district semifinals. So quite a turnaround for Berwick. Doesn't end the way they would have liked, but a successful season.
It was a successful season, Jim. It was a team that grew as they went. Now, they met some strong teams along the way in this one. Valley View certainly a very strong team that makes a bittersweet ending to a pretty nice season.
So Valley View advances to the district final. They do it with an 11-1 record. They'll be home next Friday night against North Pocono. Winner over Dallas this evening. For the Bulldogs, their season will end with a record of 7-5. The final again, Valley View 21, Berwick nothing. For Andy Lickney and our producer Raven Klein, has done such a terrific job all season long for us for these Berwick broadcasts. This is Jim Lowell reminding you you're live on Sports Radio HLM.
You've been listening to Berwick Bulldogs Football Playoffs on Sports Radio HLM. Brought to you by Reds Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick for all your home improvements. Yannick Real Estate, commercial and residential. Axis Gymnastics Academy, East 7th Street in Bloomsburg. First Columbia Bank and Trust, with you every step of the way. Riverview Block 8 of Berwick. Welsh's Towing and Repair, towing, recovery, and lockout services. The Berwick Medicine Shop, now at 500 Fowler Avenue in Berwick. The Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships. ND Accounting and Consulting, your hometown CPA firm. Overhead Door Company of Berwick. The Mayo Funeral Homes of Berwick and Shikshini. S.J. Kowalski Heating and Cooling, the way the earth intended. Don's Towing, Truck and Trailer Repair, Route 11 in Berwick. Independence Ford, Route 11 in Bloomsburg. Lehigh Valley Health Network, your partner for orthopedic and sports medicine care. Mason's Monogram Service for all your Bulldog merchandise. And by Name Brand Liquidations in the Berwick Plaza on Route 11. HLM is the Valley Sports Leader.